Hello and welcome. It is Team Modern Super League Finals time. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Brian Brown Doohan. How are things?
Hey, it's going great. Ready to bash alongside some bros.
Got it. Do you have a special guest? You're the special guest, I
Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
All right.
I'm the this week's special guest. So
Good to know. I don't know. Maybe you could bust out the new special guest at some point. Not for the finals though. Save
no,
that for next season. Yeah, you guys are trying to win two straight. I mean, technically, I guess it was Team Genesis that won the Standard Super League that we did, but it was the three brothers who bashed plus, some guy, some Seth Banfield. I don't know. He's
yeah.
okay at Magic,
Whoever
I
that
guess.
guy is, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's good at Magic or something, but who knows?
Right, but so you guys are trying to go back to back as far as Team Super Leagues go. Meanwhile, we've got Andreas Peterson of Mage Market trying to go back to back. He just won the individual Vintage Super League, which was the most recent one we did. It's quite the showdown here in the finals, actually.
Yeah, there's actually a lot on the line for both teams, and we the last time we played a Modern Super League, we got annihilated. We ended up winning the Standard one, so now we're out for Modern revenge. And then yeah, he's trying to go back to back as well. I mean, he's not going to, but you
I
know,
like it.
he's trying. So
Yeah, if you guys want to check out the website, it's vintagesuperleague.com. It's got sort of all the historical records. I added it up. This is actually the 18th Super League. We're right at 5 years into this now. Started in late 2014. So 18 Super Leagues. Nobody's ever won three, and the list of people who've won two of them is actually relatively small. It's only four people who've managed to pull that off. Two-thirds of Peach Garden Oath, and then Efro and LSV. Some elite company you guys could join.
yeah, hopefully 7 people after tonight. I think it's gonna be tough for us though. Some of these matchups are looking a bit rough, but fortunately, Modern is cruel, and anything can happen in a game of Modern. So
Yeah, and talk to me about the fresh Modern. We just had massive changes to the format literally yesterday, extended the deck deadline till this morning. You guys used every minute of the extension. What was your thinking coming into this?
So we knew we wanted to play Tron because we just thought Tron was going to beat up on all these like slow mid-rangey decks, which they had the same idea. They also play
Yeah.
Tron.
Mage Market also bringing a Tron deck.
They,
Interestingly, though, you guys, differences on the Great Creator package versus no.
Yeah, we went with a non-great creator package to basically give ourselves an actual sideboard. I feel the Karn version or the great creator versions of Tron don't really have a sideboard. They probably have a better main deck, but a little less flexible in that regard. So we went with that, and
Okay,
then
that's one.
yeah. So then I'm gonna play Urza no matter what. They probably put me on that, but that's just I got a reputation to uphold. So that
There's
was our
more to
other
it,
deck.
though. A lot of people looked at that Urza shell and were like, oh, you put in Stoneforge Mystic. We've got yet another sword he can go get, or she can go get, right? And that's actually what Mage Market did. They brought Urza Blade, they called it, which is essentially the Urza deck you've been playing forever, but theirs has Stoneforge Mystic. And I saw you on Twitter yesterday go on record saying Goblin Engineer is going to be better in this deck than Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, I actually started out as a Goblin Engineer hater. When I first started playing with the Urza deck, I hated the card. I just really didn't like it. And I actually tested a long time with a list that didn't play it. And I've slowly been weaning my way back towards really liking the card. And I think it has a number of advantages over Stoneforge. I mean, Stoneforge and a Batterskull is just a good thing. But I feel like that engine of Stoneforge Batterskull is way better when you have disruption. Or like you have disruption to go with it. So you want to have like removal to clear the way. You want to have like maybe even hand disruption to make sure your Stoneforge will survive. All these other things I think pairs way better than like a bunch of random artifacts that don't really like have any synergy. Like you can attack 4 times with a Batterskull, and then once they finally deal with it, you don't have another creature to attack with. Things like that makes me not super excited about Stoneforge there. And it's just slower too. Like Stoneforge getting Sword of the Meek, then you have to pay another 2 mana for the sword. Whereas the Goblin puts it directly into your graveyard already. That's a little bit cheaper there. If you play a Stoneforge and get a sword, then they don't have to kill your Stoneforge, whereas the Goblin's still representing a big threat. There's a lot of reasons why I think it's going to pan out to be better, but I mean, betting against Stoneforge Mystic might be the dumbest thing I've ever done. So.
Any thoughts of playing both?
I think it's reasonable. I think you could reasonably play both. Play a couple Stoneforges, like one Batterskull, one sword or something. I think it's totally reasonable.
Yeah, definitely. Some exploration still to be done here. We're on, day 2 of this modern format. All right, so that's 2 decks. Now what else?
So Brad and Corey are kind of off in their own little world, and they picked Infect. I had no hand in that. I don't know how Infect was chosen or whatever. Okay. So I let them do that, and then I wanted to build. So I have this like theory of Stoneforge that you want to play it in a disruption shell. Mm-hmm. Or like of some kind of disruption. It doesn't have to necessarily be hand disruption or whatever. It could be like, wasteland type stuff like in Legacy. But so I want to play it in a Mardu deck. I thought Mardu might be a good shell for it. Hand disruption, creature removal. So I built this Mardu Pyromancer deck with Stoneforge. So that was one deck I want to try. That deck might suck. We don't know, but it'll be fun.
Okay, and that deck looked good to me on paper. I'm definitely interested to see how it plays out. That's 4 though, right? What's the?
So the last one is just regular humans, just stock humans.
Right.
So I don't really know. I just decided to go with that deck. It's a deck I've played a lot with and I'm familiar with, and I thought, oh, maybe it'll be good now. I have this idea that humans might be good against Stoneforge decks because humans usually kind of beats up on other creature decks. So we'll see.
And now you got to look at the opponent's decks this morning. Their lists went up. The matchups look not great. I definitely saw them with the Wanvoli Acid Moss up against your Tron deck. That part doesn't look good, but overall thoughts on the matchup setup?
I think we got a couple of rough ones. So like Titan Shift with 3 main deck Acid Moss against Tron. Not looking forward to that one. We hit Tron versus Tron when they have 8 Karns to our 4. Also one that we're probably not favored in. But then there's a couple other matches. Like I think Infect versus Urza. I think it's close, but I want to say that Infect's probably a little bit of a favorite there.
It's pretty fast, especially with scale up, right?
Oh yeah, it can be like Blighted Agent. Like the Urza deck can block some of the other creatures, but Blighted Agent and then a turn 3 kill. It's pretty much always going to win there. And then like Urza versus Abzan was one of the other matches, which I think that's just going to be a close matchup. I don't think it's like a super lopsided either way. Just kind of a grind fest that could go either way. So I think we're a little bit behind in matchups, but we definitely have game.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Should be a fun night of Magic. We are currently setting up for the first match. First match of the night is going to be Michael Bonda on their Urza Blade deck, Mage Market's Urza Blade deck, up against Brad Nelson, who's running Infect. And this is one where you guys need to get out quick, you think? Get the first one on the board while you've got maybe an edge in a matchup?
Oh, for sure. And this is one where I hope Brad's been practicing because I think it's going to be really important, his dice rolling skills. So I hope he's been working on his dice rolling skills because I think winning the die roll is pretty key for this matchup. Their Urza deck has Thoughtseize and Fatal Push, so they have a little bit of interaction. So it's not going to be it's not just free reign like some of the other builds.
Yeah. Worth mentioning, by the way, Mage Market has submitted their 21st through 25th distinct archetypes for the season. They went 1-1, so they had to play all 3 playoff rounds, but all 5 of their weeks, they've submitted 5 decks they had not submitted before. It helps perhaps that we're on, I think, the 5th different incarnation of Modern since we started 13 weeks ago, right? We had pre-Modern Horizons, with Modern Horizons, no Bridge from Below, and now no Hogak. So we've gone through some format, M20 came out in the middle. Still an impressive run by them and an impressive, breadth of the way they're attacking this format.
Yeah, they definitely win the cool factor for sure over us. So, if they get to win playing 25 different decks, that's an awesome story. I would be rooting for them, except I'm okay being like the bad guy here. So, fine.
You got to put another title up, right?
That's right.
While we are getting set up for that first round, I do want to thank our sponsors. This is the last week of the season. It's been an awesome season. Cool Stuff Inc. has been with us the whole time for the last couple of seasons. They've got a promo code MH10. Will get you 10% off Modern Horizon singles. If you haven't used that, you still can. Meanwhile, we picked up a second sponsor for the playoffs. Cardsphere.com moved in, so check them out if you're interested in the ability to trade cards, through their service. But time for round 1. Let's get this final started. All right, Brad's on the top of your screen with Infect. How is this draw? I don't see an Infect creature in it. I guess the Nexus, is that good enough?
Yeah, he's got the Inkmoth Nexus, but his hand's kind of bad. Like, Distortion Strike's not the best with Inkmoth Nexus. And then...
also, no blue mana.
Yeah, also well, he has Noble Hierarch, but...
Oh, sure, you're right. Oh, Blighted Agent! There! Everything works! Turn 1 Noble Hierarch into turn 2 Blighted Agent, and his turn 3 is potentially pretty good here.
Yeah, so... Double Fatal Push in Bonde's hand, so he could really disrupt Brad pretty strong here.
Yeah, that Hierarch is the key to Brad's blue mana, so you just kill it on sight, right? Bolt the bird?
I generally like killing Noble Hierarch.
He goes for Sword of the Meek.
Yeah, I like killing the Hierarch, normally speaking, but in a deck where you only have 3 removal spells in your entire 75, sometimes you feel like you can't afford to spew one. You have to, you have to hit like the right creature at the right time with it. Instead of just being like a disrupt them a little bit, it's got to be like a blow them out kind of scenario. So I think that's probably what he's looking for.
So Fatal Push would have been the psychic play, right? If Bonde was psychic, he'd realize, oh, I can color screw him and keep Blighted Agent off the table. But
yeah,
you don't get to be psychic. It's always, eye of the commentators can often see a play that it would have blown him out here. Like you said, he needs to blow him out. He could have, but he had no way to know that.
Right. And
then Fetch Land came off the top anyway, so it's kind of moot.
Yeah. I think if he was going to Fatal Push, he would have just done it at the end of Brad's first turn as well. Not drawn a card, but...
All right. Brad's draw has come together.
I will say, though, that he has access to Double Push, which Double Push is pretty good. Because Brad's probably going to go for it. And, okay, now he has Thoughtseize Push, which that might be even better.
Certainly gives Bonde a lot of information.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on over there.
He'll probably just take the Blossoming Defense so that Brad can't protect his Blighted Agent. And then Brad's probably going to... Oh, maybe he might... I guess he's just going to fire off Fatal Push now, which that's pretty smart. Not mess around.
No draw step to draw a protection spell for Brad.
Brad's a little bit punished by not playing the Inkmoth Nexus last turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean... Michael's at 13. Is this potentially a regular damage game? It's starting to come into play. He's got what, plus 10 in his hand? No, plus 11 with the Distortion Strike, the Exalted.
It's not out of the question, but the Stoneforge is probably
suddenly there's a blocker.
Yeah. Ooh, Dismember. That could be big. That's one thing I love about it. In fact, they play all these random one-ofs, and whenever they blow you out with one, you're always just like, it feels so bad. So Brad might go for Dismember just to keep Batterskull off the board, but he also might not care about Batterskull too. I don't know. He's at 17. He's got 2 flyers, so...
I mean, at some level, he has to decide whether regular damage is actually relevant here, right? Yeah. Clear the Stoneforge. He can attack for a ton.
Yeah, I mean, he can also make that same massive attack with his Nexus.
With the Distortion Strike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, Brad's at... Bonde's at 13 life, but he's at, effectively 10 life when it comes to poison. So I think Brad's debating, like, does he have another Fatal Push here? Because this is lethal.
So it is.
But I think Brad, well, because he already played the 1 Fatal Push. Brad might go for it.
I mean, he does see the Watery Grave. He's clearly pausing to think.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
There's an interesting spot here because if he has nothing, you just win the game.
Yep. And like you said, there's only 3 removal spells in the list. He's already played one of them.
Yep. I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, it's hard for me to. What is happening? Oh,
I
is he
think Distortion
just?
Strike.
Well, Distortion Strike, I think, is a sorcery.
Oh, my bad. What is he?
I don't know what's happening here.
What
Is
was
that a?
that?
Did he? I think he activate Nexus when he thought he was adding mana.
I think so. I
Did
don't
he
know.
just mess up and have it work out massively in his favor? Is that what just happened?
Wow, he was trying to make 2 mana to then delve 4 and cast Become Immense, and he misclicked. I think. I don't know what else. I don't see any other way for Noble Hierarch to wind up tapped there. He misclicked, saved himself a Become Immense because Bonda did have the second Fatal Push. Crazy. That is quite the misclick.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he used his floating mana to activate Nexus for a second time. I mean, that's what happened. All right, here's Urza.
All right, Dismember here on the Urza in response to the trigger is really strong play, because that prevents Bonde from activating Stoneforge Mystic. Otherwise, he could make 2 blue mana with the Construct and the Sword, filter it through the Astrolabe, and put Batterskull into play.
So it's not all misclicks with Brad. Sometimes
Not all
he's
There's some. It's mostly misclicks. It's like 90% misclicks, but there's that 10% of the time where he clicks correctly. All right, so he's got. Is this lethal? It's 6, 7. I think he can only do 9. I think Brad can do 9 points of infect this turn, and probably should.
I also count 9.
Go with a distortion strike, and then
That's
go
2.
with.
Exalt makes it 3. Become Immense does have all the delve. All right, here's 9.
Here's 9, and then
Effectively,
2
it makes
infectors. So
precisely 2 different Blink Bomb Nexuses to attack with next turn.
yeah, Bonnet kind of has to draw something like Thopter Foundry, I think.
Dr. Foundry would let him make multiple flying blockers.
Yeah.
How about Urza? That does not.
That's not going to do it because he doesn't have enough artifacts. He could, if he had one more artifact, he could Urza and then activate Urza and maybe hit Thopter Foundry off the Urza activation. Then he would just actually win the game on the spot.
He would go infinite.
Yeah.
Wow. Brad Nelson takes game 1. Bonda had 2 fatal pushes, but Brad had more infect creatures than that. And a timely misclick. Honestly, if Brad doesn't misclick, I think he loses, right? He's down to Become Immense, and Bonda's got an Urza that he's able to go nuts with, right?
Yeah, if he spews Might of Old Kroza and Become Immense and loses his Nexus and both of those in one combat step, I don't see him coming back. I mean, he'd have to get really lucky to pull it out from there.
It's one of those where he needs to like attack 5 times with Nexus plus Exalted or something. I guess 4 attacks once you throw in the Distortion Strike.
Yeah. Plus any top deck pump spells, but yeah.
Yeah, he needs to top deck better than the guy with Urza is the world Brad would be in. But he did it. Yeah, Misclick denied him the chance to go for it and find out. And Bonde's that was just a crazy game.
All right,
now,
so it looks like Bonde's starting out the Stoneforge package, at least some of it. Makes sense. Batterskull's not really great against this deck.
Yeah, it looks like he's left 2 in to end with the Sword of the Meek as their target.
I can't really tell what he's boarded in. It's hard for me to see.
Were his Thoughtseize his main?
I think they were
Yeah,
main.
they were. What did he bring in?
Yeah, I can't tell. On Brad's side, he gets Force of Vigor and Viridian Corruptor, which are both pretty nice. I will say, though, honestly, that Force of Vigor, while it's a strong card against Urza, it's not lights out like it would have been against some of these other artifact decks in the past. The only reason it was so insane against Urza out of Hogak is that Hogak had that you had a ley line or something that you needed against Hogak. That was essential. But here there's no one artifact that's essential against infects. So I don't think it's quite the same.
I believe Bonda brought in Collective Brutality and Monastery Mentor.
Okay.
is I think what he did. Or maybe were the Tezzerets in the deck? Agent of Bolas?
I think they were still on the board.
Yeah, okay. I think it's the Mentors. We'll find out.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. One thing I was saying, Brad and I were talking a little bit about this matchup, and I was like, I'm really happy that they don't have Plague Engineer in their sideboard. That card I think is really good against Infect. Just if you name Human, you get Blighted Agent and Noble Hierarch, and I don't know, it's really hard for Infect to win past that point.
Is Brad's draw good enough? It's like a Hierarch and a Pendelhaven. It's got 3 Infect creatures.
I think Brad's draw is a keep. Maybe I'm wrong.
That was my question. It's sort of 5 mana cards. Like but I mean 2 of them are Nexuses, one's a Pendelhaven.
Yeah, and like there's 3 Infectors. The Noble Hierarch might, the Noble Hierarch is also a pump spell effectively.
Right. Nothing pumps for more than +1, but he's got 3 different ways to get +1. Yeah, and he's got a deck to draw from, so maybe that's good enough.
Waterlogged Grove can rebuy you a card later on.
Oh, good point.
Bonde's hand, on the other hand, is really interesting because he has Thopter Foundry, War of Invention, Mox Opal. I mean, his hand is insane if he has a basic land. He just doesn't have one, so he can't cast the Astrolabe. Otherwise, his hand would be just like the nut. Looks like he decided.
Oh, Brad had a 6-card hand, so his debate was what to put on the bottom.
Okay,
I missed the 7, but he kept that. That definitely seems like a keep at 6. And then what he decided was the Distortion Strike was what went to the bottom. Meanwhile, Glistener Elf off the top.
All right, so it's another Infector. I mean, I think I would lead on Noble Hierarch here, but I'm not an Infect master, so I'm sure there's arguments for all different kinds of plays here.
Yeah, I also not an Infect master. My intuition was Glistener Elf first, but
I think the problem with Glistener Elf is that if Bonde just plays, I guess because you have Pendelhaven, it changes the math. I think without Pendelhaven, if Bonde just were to play a Stoneforge Mystic, then you just can't attack.
Yeah, but you have Pendelhaven and Hierarch, right?
Yeah, because he has those cards, it maybe changes it a little bit.
Still no Snowland for the Astrolabe, so Bonde's draw not blistering.
No, but if he does draw a Snowland, he can play like almost his entire hand, and then he has Urza plus War of Invention to get Sword of the Meek. So he's actually quite close to to going off.
All right, Brad sees Pendelhaven plus Hierarch and is like, all right, here's 3. Second Astrolabe, not really what Bonde wanted.
Yeah, you hate to see it unless you're exactly me or Corey Baumeister or Brad Nelson.
Second Thopter Foundry just to turn on the Mox Opal. That's his turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, it does allow him to turn one of his foundries into a blocker. That's not relevant. That does turn off Mox Opal though, so
sure.
He might just he's going to be kind of put to the test here because he has to think like, can Brad one-shot me?
I mean, he's already dealt 3, so he should be able to. Like most Infect hands can deal 7 here, right? You're starting at 3. You just need any +4 effect.
And Brad did just draw 1, so
and everything's an instant.
So he has to decide. Do I risk it or do I make a Thopter? But if you make the Thopter and block, you lose out on your Mox Opal being on. So then it's good. Then you probably aren't casting Urza next turn. I mean, unless you draw like basic land, play your Astrolabe, draw another Mox Opal off it or something. So.
And the fact that Astrolabe costs no mana to cast has been pretty punishing for this draw.
Yeah, there's no mercy for the Dane here.
Snow mercy, really?
I can't help myself. It's a disease. All right, he does. Yeah.
Does make the chump blocker. Thopter Foundry is gonna block Glistener Elf.
It's kind of like good either way for Brad, honestly.
Yeah.
Like he loses the Opal, and you get to play Blighted Agent. Ooh. That's
Bobble turns the Opal on. What does Word get?
uh you can get Sword of the Meek, and then if you draw a land, you go off.
Okay.
He might have a one some more see if some sort of one mana artifact here that's relevant. He could get Pithing Needle for Pendelhaven, but I don't think that that does a whole lot.
Yeah, it doesn't sound impactful enough. Hilariously, it's like, does he have a way to make snow mana that he can whir for? It's probably not impactful enough either, but
Yeah,
kind of a fun
I mean, I
spot.
think he's just gonna die next turn. But
Right. Well, I think from his perspective, though, he probably has to cross his fingers and hope he can survive a turn. All right, he's going to
yeah,
leave up the ability to whir mid combat or
mhm,
sack stuff for Thopter Foundry.
mhm. Yeah, I think his line. Well, he can't block because of Blighted Agent,
Right.
so I think his line is hope Brad can't kill him. Whir for sword, untap, draw land, or Mox. Play
Play
Urza,
Urza.
and then
Win. Yeah.
yeah,
It's going to be 2 games in a row where Brad kills him right before he can go off with Urza Thopter Sword.
yeah. I mean, it depends on if Brad decides to go for it. Brad might be afraid of Fatal Push and not realize that he's just going to be dead next turn.
It's true. Last game, Brad sort of went for it in the face of potential Fatal Push.
Right.
Got saved by a misclick, but what does he do here? I mean, he's seen nothing from Bonda's draw. Although he did see the fact that Bonda sacrificed a Thopter Foundry to block kind of says there's probably no Fatal Push. Has to make the odds of Fatal Push be smaller.
I think so. I think it reduces the odds because Bonde turned off his Mox Opal with that line.
Right.
And so you think you think if there's a push there, he'll probably just take the damage, push in response to a pump spell. So yeah, I think that's definitely an indicator that there could be something going on.
All right. Brad fires up Nexus, so he's got 3 different Infectors attacking. No Exalted trigger.
So I think you go for Vines here on one of your attackers, and if you get blown out by a push, like if they have a push, then you only deal 3 infect. But if
Right. You've still got lethal next turn, right?
Yeah, you still have lethal next turn. Like, and then I think Brad's waiting until no blocks are declared and then going for Vines, probably on Glistener Elf, his least impactful card. You don't want to like go in on Blighted Agent and then lose that one.
You also don't want to go in on Inkmoth Nexus. You might accidentally activate the Nexus a second time.
Yeah, that's right.
He got it right. All right, this is we can see. I don't think there's anything to work for to get out of this, right? This just works. And Brad
I think
just wins.
so. Yeah, I think so.
All Michael Bonda has to defend himself with is a single copy of Whir of Invention. He can whir for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're already past blocks, which it looks like we are, then I don't think he has an out. Yeah, it looks like Brad ends up winning.
Brad Nelson wins the first match. The brothers are on the board. They strike first. You heard BBD say there's a couple of bad matchups for them later on, so they definitely wanted to hang this W on the board, and that's how things start.
We needed this one for sure.
All right, it is best 4 out of 7. If you haven't watched one of these yet, where have you been? But welcome. Best 4 out of 7. It's now 1 to the Bash Bros, and Mage Market's got a little bit of work left to do, but they'll try to get started next round. What do we have? We have one of their better matchups now, right?
Tron versus Humans, which I'm involved in this matchup, and I will say that I don't feel favored as the Humans player. So there's been a lot of debate about this match, but I think Tron's favored.
All right, it will be BBD on the human side against Thomas Enevoldsen running Tron for Mage Market. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with round number 2.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second round of Team Modern Super League. I am Michael Bonda, and I'm here with my opponent from last round, Brad Nelson.
What an introduction. What an introduction. We are here for the last week of Team Modern Super League, at least this season. And because of that, I just want to say a thank you to Athena and to Randy for putting on this awesome show. I didn't think we were going to make it to the finals again. Honestly, I have made Brian and Corey do maximum effort this season. I'm not going to lie.
Me too, Brad. I'm 2-9 or something, so it's really on the backs of Thomas and
I've won some matches, but when it comes to getting organized, I'm usually not there. But I did build this version of Infect on my own by stealing a main deck from somebody else and updating the sideboard by 1 or 2 cards. But it is mine. And,
Brad, I I realized that you double activated your Inkmoth Nexus. So
don't you have to? One to make it a creature and 1 to deal damage and then 1 to block. Maybe I have to reread the card, but no, I might have had an interface error to use to Arena these days. I don't play a ton on Magic Online, especially I haven't played Infect in one time during Modern Super League. But yeah, I clicked on the Become Immense. You should have gotten it all. I think you should have won game 1, but the Magic gods are very kind to me. And I didn't actually click the Become Immense. So then when I clicked the creature, now I'm activating it, and I didn't realize that. It took me a second to realize.
Yeah, okay.
It all worked out in the end though, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I was really hoping for in game 2, like I had it's got the Whir of Invention for 1 for the needle to just stop your Inkmoth Nexus. But I felt like with 3 cards in hand, I had to be lucky and just go for the sword and then try to infinite combo next turn. So I was really hoping for you not going for it and just letting me combo up the turn next.
Yeah, it was a really interesting turn because there's levels to that, right? There's layers. Yeah. Like I know that you are a very skilled Magic player. And it's very easy to put people, come on. And it's very easy. Don't be like that.
Well, when it comes from you, it's
well, thank you.
I get completely flabbergasted here.
Oh, come on. We go way back. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. So there's layers to leveling each other, and you doing that on main phase and untapping, it probably means it's in your hand, but I guess it was all face up, but I could try to level myself. Like if you were trying to get me to think that, then I might not go for it. But I've played enough with Urza to know that some of those hands are just straight clunkers.
Yeah.
And you only have 4 fatal push that are answers that turn. So I'm like, I could get max punished for my actions, but you were missing land drops, and I could tell your hand wasn't functioning. So I could probably sneak in a win with 2 draw steps last turn because of the great Modern Horizon lands. I would be able to see 2 cards for the turn. I had plenty of infect creatures.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to go for it. But now we get to go into round 2, because that's how Modern Super League, it's not just one match. It is a combined total of up to 7 matches. And we have Thomas Enevoldsen on OG Tron. This is it's new Tron with the great creator.
Yes, it is. I think that's the difference between our Tron and your Tron. It's the great creator and the sideboard.
Yes, it is. It's a big debate, right? Everyone tried Great Creator before the Pro Tour, but a lot of the Blast Mythic Championship and most of the successful versions of Tron didn't play it. So we just went with that. And
then we have Brian on humans.
Oh yeah, just very stock human. So I think the players are actually ready, so we can go down and start this action. This is a matchup that I know Brian has a lot of experience in, but I'm not sure if Thomas does.
So Thomas just really wanted to play Tron because he's never played it and everyone hates on it. So he was like, yeah, I'm locked in on Green Tron. So you guys can do whatever you want. I'm just locked in on Green Tron.
I assume you all thought we were on it too.
Yeah, I think it's a very good deck, and it doesn't really get hit that much from bannings of Hogak. I think we all anticipated that was a thing that would happen. So Thomas's hand is pretty good here. How do you think?
I think his hand is awful. Thomas's hand, he only has 1 Tron piece.
Yes, but you can't have it all the time, Brad.
Well, that's why we get mulligans. We don't have to mulligan. We get to mulligan. It is an option that we should use sometimes. And I think this should have been a chance, because the problem is Tron mulligans very aggressively. Yeah. I'm not trying to, say anything bad about Thomas, but the inexperience is showing here if he doesn't play this deck that often, because you don't function if you don't hit Tron, especially in a matchup as punishing as humans. Seeing that forest, probably Brian was just like, no way,
Yeah, I agree. But sometimes my experience playing against humans, like with other decks in Tron, is that with the meddling mages, the Talias and what are they called? The Kitesail Freebooter. I actually haven't looked at your list.
I haven't either.
You get to some points where if you mulligan down to 5 and get to the Tron, you need to rely on your top decks. So with Thomas having 2 spheres, or a sphere and a star here, he gets to dig for the Tron pieces with the expedition map and go for Tron on turn 4, hopefully, or turn 5. So I think there is you can mulligan down to 6, and I might have done that with Thomas's hand, but I think going down to 5, you can really put yourself in a tough spot.
Oh, the Thalia right now. So turn 1 champion into Thalia for Brian. And that Thalia is really doing it, right? Because we can already tell that Thomas did find a Tron piece, but because of that extra mana that had to be cast, it is not going to allow Thomas to have full Tron activation by turn 4.
No, unless he is
natural, yes.
Draws it from
the old natural.
So Brian has a meddling mage here, so he can try and hedge against whatever card, not Ugin, because Thomas can't play that, but something like Wormcoil Engine or a Karn, or he can just go for the super aggro with the Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yeah, those
what
are
the 2 What do you think he's going to do here?
I have no idea. Brian knows how to play this deck. I don't play a lot of humans, and both are close in my mind, but to him, Modern is the kind of format that you have to play 10 matches before you can make the slide. Yeah. But I do think that Ugin should be on Brian's radar right now, because Thomas does have 3 lands in play. The 4th land is where you get to 8+ mana. 3 is always 7. So I mean, I would lean towards Thali's Lieutenant as well and get aggressive because we don't know what's in Thomas's hand yet.
Yeah.
And we know that he's been struggling for Tron.
Yeah.
But Brian is like the least lucky person when it comes to playing against Tron. So I am pretty sure that we're going to see a mine and we're going to see an Ugin next turn. Like there's more percentage chance than just the 4 in the deck.
We will see a a mine here probably through some of the fetches, but yeah, it's not gonna put on a big creature on the battlefield as of right now, and it makes Brian's play pretty good since he pressured Thomas down to 11 here. So and then he has 7, 8, 9. So if he draws, no, he
doesn't he have lethal with just casting both creatures?
Let's see. So it's 6 with the champion. It's 9. Yes, so it's lethal if Thomas doesn't do anything and Brian just plays both creatures. So Thomas probably has to play the Blast Zone here just to survive one extra turn and hope for the top deck.
I mean, if Thomas thinks that has to be done, which probably it does make a lot of sense why that has to be done.
Yeah.
It's such a feel bad turn though, right? Like, I mean, I guess you get to play the Blast Zone. To be fair, you get to play the Blast Zone and pass. And then if Brian doesn't present lethal, then you get to pop that. But and what is that? That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Brian would have to just throw away a creature and not draw off the Rising Canopy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's probably what has to happen.
Yeah, because like Brian has 4 cards in hand, so I think Thomas has to like rely on that they are 2 humans. But it seems like he's just gonna go with
it is a losing line. It's a losing line, right? Like you the only way is to naturally draw one of your 4 outers. Right now, you're just hoping that Brian's hit like a non-functioning draw, and this is going to get him out of this. Like, I understand the thought process here. There's a lot of games like this where you could take a percentage chance, but it's better to just go for it.
Yeah, I think this is kind of this is not usually how Thomas plays. Like, I think he would have played, if it was blue-white, he would have played the more passive line. But this is like playing into the Brian doesn't have anything. And I guess, yeah, I don't know. I think it's close as you're saying. Playing like the Blast Zone is kind of a weird play since you need to top deck and you have 4 in 46. So I guess the chances are kind of small, but this is also just a losing line anyways.
Yep. And so Brian throwing away a Thali from hand just to get a counter on Champion of the Parish and the Thali's Lieutenant, and that is going to take Brian to a game 1 victory where things do improve for Brian as he came prepared with Damping Spheres.
Yeah.
And this is where one of the biggest problems for this version of Mono Green Tron is, right? Because this Karn Great Creator does do some really cool things like go sneak in an Ensnaring Bridge in game 1s, which can be very valuable. It does not have that deep of a sideboard. A lot of those Spatial Contortion, Warping Wall slots really get hurt. Even Dismember slots get taken out of these versions of the deck.
Yeah, and we're debating in our chat whether or not to put in the Track Tusks, if we should go for all 3, 1 or 2. Because you have Karn the Great Creator, and you have like this entire engine, and there's so many cards that you don't want to like take out for a card like Track Tusk. So it's gonna be interesting what Thomas decides to do for the final.
Right. So that really confused me. I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You all discuss the ins and outs of your matchups?
Yes.
Because Brian just sends me sideboard guides for the Modern Super League, and I just listen to them.
Yeah, so I wrote a sideboard, what I'm sideboarding to Andreas, and we talked about it like just for a few seconds, and then Thomas wrote what he's gonna sideboard, and we talked about that for a couple of like, is this good or if it's not good? And I think his initial plan was 2 claims, 3 Track Tusk, 1 Contortion, 2 Dismember for 1 Relic, 1 Ulamog, 1 Liberated. No, 1 small Karn, 2 big Karn, 1 Ghost Quarter, 1 Wormcoil, and 1 small Karn. So I think he mixed up all the Karns here, and he wants to. Yeah, and then Andreas was kind of like he didn't want all the 3 Track Tusks, and they're like debating back and forth. So But in the end, it's Thomas who has like the final saying. So let's see what he goes for here. I think I like the Traktusk in some regard.
Yeah, and as for Brian, I have no idea. That's it. No, like you have to be aggressive, but there's a lot of cards that just like lose a lot of value, especially on the draw, like Thalia's and Reflector Mage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Brian looks to be just hoping to keep the aggression and draw a Damping Sphere, and with the new London Mulligan rule, that happens a whole lot more often. And oh, look at that hand! Oh, yes, yes.
So there's a turn. I think what Brad is trying to say in a non-verbal communication is there is a Dampen Sphere on turn 2.
Are you telling me how to English?
No, I'm just doing the translation of the legend here. So there's a Dampen Sphere on turn 2, and even though Thomas has like Tron on turn 3, it's gonna get stifled by the Damping Sphere and the Collector Roof.
Yeah, the follow-up Collector Roof is gonna hurt potential cantrips, but Spatial Contortion is there to save the day.
So let's see, Thomas is probably going to pop his expedition map here and go for a... Yeah, the thing is, if you go for Tron piece or if you go for the green source, I would go for the green source here. Oh,
well, you can also go for Blast Zone because you have Sylvan Scrying in hand.
That is true, Brad. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I tested myself with plenty of Tron. And the Blast Zone is such a huge inclusion. I think Blast Zone was like the one card that I thought was going to be decent, but has just been phenomenal in both standard and modern.
Yeah, and someone in the chat is also saying Blast Zone almost for sure. So
and actually, I mean, chat is always right.
Yeah, I think it's a 50-50 at least. Either are or they're not. He's just going to go for the Tron piece, but I actually like the play of Blast Zone here. I didn't think about it, but it seems like it has a play to get the Blast Zone and take away like the 2-drops from and a potential Collector Roof from Brian's side.
I just like the sequencing, right? So you get to play a Chromatic Sphere, say go, Spatial Contortion the next play, and then you can Sylvan Scrying and you can get your Tron into play and then threaten to blow up all 2s.
I don't think Thomas is remembering there's a Damping Sphere, that it's not only... he is playing the Chromatic Star. So let's see what Brian does here. He can only play one spell, so the thing is if he's gonna lock down the star, which kind of makes sense, or if he's gonna go aggressive with the Mantis Rider.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you're not going to be able to double spell for the rest of the game, so it might be correct to just get more aggressive.
Yep.
And try to hope that things just don't line up. So I could see playing the Mantis Rider.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, but it takes away some of the value that you gain out of the Collector Roof for now and like for the later turn. So he is going to play the Collector Roof here, which kind of forces Thomas's hand to play one of the 2 Cultist spells in either the Stone or the Contortion. The Stone is kind of like a setup play where you get Brian to like build the board up, then you kill the Oof, and then you bomb the board. But the Contortion also just draws a card this turn, and you might draw a land for the land drop that Thomas is missing here.
Well, I don't think you want to Contortion and then crack the star because you need that star to get these Sylvans. Right? Yeah. So the Sylvans can chain into forests.
Yeah, I agree. So I would imagine that Thomas is just gonna kill the Oof here.
Yeah, I mean it's the bigger threat. Like still at 20 life, right? Like Humans is the beatdown, and Thomas still has not been dealt a single point of damage, and so there's still plenty of time in this game. Like without if there's a 1-drop, if Brian just played a champion or even a Noble Heart, this game would be a lot different. But because that didn't happen,
This is one of the fun things about the Damping Sphere. The Damping Sphere completely shuts down Tron's insane lines, but it is still like a card where you need to put some aggression on the board for it to actually be relevant, like in the long run. Because Thomas is just gonna fire off a land here, probably get a Blast Zone or get another green source, and then play another sphere. Then Brian is going to play like the Thales Lieutenant and hit Thomas down to 13, and it's still a game. Like it's not a turn 2 clock. It's probably like more of a turn 3 clock, depending on what Brian is drawing.
Yep, Brian will also be able to get a vial into play or want to draw off of thing, but I'm pretty sure it's just get a vial into play, crack one of the canopies next turn.
Yep.
Oh,
so he's cracking the canopy here.
Hmm.
And that was actually a pretty nice play, or a pretty nice draw. I guess he can play the champion here and play a vial, and then play the Thales Lieutenant next turn, which puts more damage on the battlefield than just playing the Thales Lieutenant. So
I think it might be correct to just try to find disruption through sacking the lands at this point.
Okay.
Nope, I have navigated Brian's turn completely wrong. I'm going to do play-by-play from now on.
Yeah.
All right, so Thomas just drew an Ugin, which is in fact a Spirit Dragon.
Yeah, and Ugin would have been pretty nice if there wasn't a pesky Damping Sphere on the board.
Yeah.
And there was another. So funny enough here, Thomas can play the Oblivion Stone and rely on drawing a land on the top of his deck, or he can play Sylvan Scrying to get a Blast Zone and put it up to 2. But he is probably dead in 2 turns from Brian's hand. So once again, it's kind of interesting what line he goes for here. If it's like the top deck lock draw, or if it's the more like Brian has nothing in hand draw or play.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I almost feel like it's tough. Like this line lets you play a Thragtusk, but I don't even know if Thragtusk is going to be enough. It might be. I mean, it'll definitely get you through a turn.
Yeah.
But like,
but he must find Blast Zone here, right? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you have to find Blast Zone.
And then he gets to Sylvan Scrying. Yeah, so double spelling.
Oh yeah, this ain't bad. Yeah. No. This is looking good. I mean, well, no, but he has to charge the Blast Zone.
Yes, like it's Thomas is in a rough spot here with luckily for me, Brian didn't really draw much here, but it's still applying a lot of pressure with the Thales Lieutenant. But the Thragtusk is gonna negate the swing from this turn. I think it's a 7 hit, so go down to 7, and then you go down to 12. But then. Yeah, depending on the draw from Brian's side afterwards, it's probably a turn 3 clock that might get disrupted by either a Ugin or a Oblivion Stone. So it's going to be interesting to see what both Thomas draws and what Brian draws next turn.
Yeah, it's starting to look like it's swinging in Thomas's favor. I mean, but that's just what happens, right? When you just play Damping Sphere on turn 2 and have no pressure.
Yeah. And Brian has also been drawing. I don't know if poorly, but like 6 lands, 2 Damping Spheres, and 2 Aether Vials without getting the tempo advantages. I think that's
uncharacteristically bad for the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Especially without the 1-drops and Aether Vials on non-curve. So that is sometimes what you want from the match.
Oh.
So we're back at a 2-turn clock. So what can Thomas draw here?
I say we just keep complaining about how poorly Brian's drawing and keep that going.
So I think we're down to a Nature's Claim from the top to be able to get back into the game.
Yeah, another Thragtusk would stem the bleeding. There's only one Spatial Contortion, right? So I do believe there's only one on the sideboard.
Yes, I can just quickly look it up here. So there is 2 Dismember and
Those
1
won't
Spatial
do it.
Contortion. Yeah. No, that is true. They won't do it. So let's see here. Nature's Claim. That's not a Nature's Claim. So that probably makes it to 2-0 if Brian navigates the turn by attack with all and
I mean, it's not that bad that you guys are in the market for a good bashing. It's okay.
Oh, the quick 2-0. And I'm even like jet lag from GP Vegas, so
that's
I'm
a
not
good
even.
thing, though, right?
Yeah, I'm not even tired. I'm sitting here like super excited and super pumped, and then we're getting two quick matches.
Yeah, so to catch everyone up on this game, Thomas is trying to figure out a way out, but one land short of an Ugin or an Oblivion Stone. The entire hand is 8 mana sweepers.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that it is awesome to see Mage Market making their way all the way, y'all making your way to the finals of this tournament with the time difference. Like, I'm sitting here at 6 o'clock watching this, and it looks like y'all just waking up, right?
Yeah, we just go to bed around 10 and then wake up at 2:45. But we love playing Magic. We love playing in these Super Leagues, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's hard in the first 10 to 15 minutes, but then you just want to play Magic. That's what we're here for.
Oh, so, yeah, I mean, the Danes are all dedicated to Magic. I've known that for the last decade.
So, Brad, that was it for this match. We're gonna go to some commercials. You're up 2-0. Some pretty sweet decks, some pretty sweet matchups, quick games, and we're gonna be here for 7 matches in total. But let's see how that turns out.
Oh, I'm leaving now. So I'm round 5 if necessary and round 6 if necessary. I don't think it's necessary.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing commentary, and see y'all later after the commercials.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hey, welcome back again to the Team Modern Super League. Rather, I'm Brian Braun-Duin here with Thomas Enevoldsen. How's it going, Thomas?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
I'm pretty good. You able to stay awake here? I know it's like super late for you, right? Like 4 a.m. or something.
Yeah. Well, I was able to wake up, I would say, rather than stay awake.
Okay.
Actually, my day is just starting now. I'm ready.
Oh, up bright and early to get bashed by the bros. Yeah. Yep. All right, so we just played Humans vs. Tron. I don't know. I kind of tend to believe that Tron's a little bit favored, but of course, Humans has a lot of disruption, so anything can happen. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think Tron should be a little ahead, especially game 1 when there's less disruption. But I think my hand was a bit too slow for your draw, and you just killed me too fast game 1, and game 2 you had enough disruption to get there.
Yep. All right. So Bash Bros are up to a 2-0 lead, which I kind of think we needed a head start because this next matchup I think is gonna be pretty bad for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Titan Shift versus Tron. You guys have main deck Monvuli Acid Moth. So it's gonna be a beating.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the better matchups for the Titan Shift deck. I think also our conclusions were looking at the matchups that if we could get away with a 2-2 from the first 4 matches, we'd be pretty happy. But yeah, it looks like we're in a hole now, so we gotta dig ourselves out of it.
Yeah, well, this is the one that you definitely need this match because starting out 0-3 and then losing. I mean, this is I would say this is probably the most lopsided matchup of the night.
Yeah.
So this is the big one for you. Yeah, I kind of felt like I took a bit of time looking through the matchups and I felt like we had the advantage in some of the earlier matchups, but as the night went on, you guys had some better matchups. So
Yep.
I'm
I
in the
agree.
same. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, where I felt like we needed to get a couple early wins, otherwise we were probably dead in the water.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the humans Tron. I think we were a bit favored. I think Infect was pretty favored against the Ursa deck, and now we got one with the Scapeshift deck, where I think Tron's only sort of realistic plan is to get a fast Karn out and start to just destroy the lands, because a lot of sort of the ways that Tron affects the board doesn't really matter, because Scapeshift is just going to go over the top of that or the Titan. So.
Yeah, like a Wormcoil Engine, whatever, it doesn't really beat Primeval Titan. So yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I think turn 3 Karn is pretty like you pretty essential, and even on the draw it might be too slow. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think Andreas has played a lot of Titan Shift throughout his sort of modern career, and he knows this matchup very well. It's one of the reasons to sort of play the deck. Of course, like we've seen sort of the formats maybe slow down a bit again after Stoneforge got unbanned and Hogak and Faithless Looting went away. So I think he's hoping that Titan Shift maybe could find a good spot in the metagame again and prey on those sort of more mid-range strategies that try to utilize something like Stoneforge, or even maybe sort of the enter deck to that, which may be something like Colligan's command decks, which also traditionally would be a good matchup for Titan Shift. So it should be exciting to see like how that deck how that deck's going to do going forward.
Yeah, I think before Hogak, there's something like you would just find one Titan Shift copy in like every top 8 of a tournament.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
somebody was always doing well with it, and I'm totally on board with you. Like I saw it wasn't even on my mind, but when I saw you guys submitted it, I was like, that's a really good idea. Like that deck is probably definitely poised for a comeback.
Yeah,
for exactly the reasons you said.
Yeah, and I'm not. I mean, I've also been somewhat confused about it constantly top 8ing like in any basically any metagame. And I'm not sure if it's just a result of enough people played. You just throw enough people at the tournament, one of them will stick in the top 8. But yeah, it definitely has some powerful plays, and hopefully we'll see that against I think it's Corey now on Tron, right?
Yeah, Corey's playing Tron. I one thing about Corey is that I'll never bet against him on Tron. So we may be behind here, but I have faith in my boy Corey to win the die roll, get that turn 3 Karn, take us to the promised land.
Yeah, I mean, Corey on Tron sounds scary, although I would say that Corey on most decks sounds scary. So we're definitely up against it here.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe Tron's not. Maybe it's just Tron that's scary, not necessarily Corey.
Yeah, could be.
All right, I think we're still waiting a little bit on the players. Okay, never mind. They are ready to go. So we are going to jump right down into the match.
All right. So from Andreas' side, we see a decent hand. He has a turn 2 accelerator. That's what he wants to see. He has a way to find his sort of combo kill in the form of Summoner's Pact for Primeval Titan, and then he has now promised to get those last lands into play. What do we got on Corey's side there?
Yeah. Well, Corey mulliganed his. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I can't tell if Corey mulliganed or not. Okay, it looks like he mulliganed. His first hand was basically unplayable. One land, no way to find another land. But this hand looks Well, it's not the best.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
double power plants. It looks like it's a turn 4 Tron, but then
yeah,
also Ugin and Wormcoil is what he's got. So
yeah. I think that's probably a bit too slow. I think I would go for a mulligan here, just as Corey did. And now, well, at least he has some ways to find another Tron piece, dig a little deeper. I think he has to keep this 5-card hand.
same. Yep. I think Tron land plus, uh, ways potentially to find another one. You have to keep on 5 for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And Andreas kept as well. And his game plan is pretty simple, especially against Tron. So it's just about getting a bunch of lands into play, find Primeval Titan or Scapeshift, and kill the opponent.
Yep. Turn 2 Farseek. Turn 3 hopes he draws something he can play. Otherwise, Hour Promise into Primeval Titan.
Yep.
Let's go.
And Corey's looking to find another Tron piece on that Stirrings and cycle through a couple of these spheres and maybe hope to hit a third Tron land and then the Karn. I guess is sort of his way out of this game.
Yeah, he needs to draw a Tron land, Stirrings into the other one, and then also draw Karn sometime in the mix.
Yeah.
Not as good of a game plan, but
it's a tough sell, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the table though.
Definitely,
not impossible.
Yeah. Andreas picking up a lightning bolt here, which could shorten the clock. I think if he goes Hour of Promise, he already gets to 8. So even if he has Scapeshift, he doesn't need the lightning bolt to finish Corey off. But maybe in combination with Primeval Titan, he might get there. All right, Brad found another Tron land.
I like to see that. So that's Tron land number 2.
Yep.
And there's Tron land number 3.
All right, here we go.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're still alive over here.
I might have cycled into one of the spheres first, but I'm not sure if that's correct or not. What do you think?
I think it's basically a toss-up, probably. What he has 2 draws now to find the card. He wants to play it on 3, on turn 3. Otherwise, needs to sort of use more mana to dig a little deeper. But I mean, he has some time. Andreas bricked on another mana accelerant, so he just has a very boring turn 4 here, and looks like Corey might actually have some time to set up.
Yeah, so he's doing nothing this turn, and the next turn's going to be Hour Promise. And so he's 2 turns away from Primeval Titan. So Corey definitely does have, exactly that, a chance to find something here.
Yep. Now Corey's looking. Finds a forest, not what he needed. So he's just looking to cycle through these now. He did pick up that O-Stone that could actually potentially delay that Primeval Titan from killing him.
Yep. I mean, I feel like with the fetch land in hand plus the Hour Promise plus the Primeval Titan that he's probably dead, but I haven't done the math on that one.
Well, I mean, he needs to find 2 Valakuts. Well, okay, Corey's just drawing all lands here, but Andreas needs to find the 2 Valakuts off the Primeval Titan. If Corey then kills the Primeval Titan, Andreas needs to find some ways to get more lands into play, either through more accelerants or just drawing lands. So right now he has 6 damage guaranteed from one of his lands with that Primeval Titan. We'll see if he finds some more. The good thing about
that's got to be game next turn. So
yeah, that should definitely be game, even through a Karn, because he has that lightning bolt that can deal 3 damage, bring Corey down to 17, and then Scapeshift even for 7 lands should be enough to deal those 18 points then.
Yeah, I want to say Corey basically has no outs here, but maybe there is something. Who knows?
Well, I mean, he can draw an Ulamog, right? Ulamog for
he could. Yeah. Draw exactly Ulamog.
Yep. No, not gonna do it. Yeah. So it looks like that Scapeshift's gonna take this one, the first game down, which I guess is kind of what we expected. Although it didn't help, of course, that Corey mulliganed to 5.
Yeah, I mean, Corey actually he actually found the Karn. So if he had not drawn that Scapeshift, there would have been a game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that lightning bolt could probably take care of, either a lightning bolt or one of the the Valakut triggers. But yeah, I agree that, I mean, Andreas, he probably finds, even without the scape shift, he finds Primeval Titan for maybe a Valakut and another mountain to deal 3 to the Karn and 3 to Corey, and then Corey kills the Primeval Titan, and then he's under somewhat of a clock because almost every card in Andreas' deck is going to deal 6 damage to him somehow by either being a land or finding a land.
Yeah. Yeah, he would definitely still be under a very fast clock, but he would have outs.
Yep.
Here, I think Corey is tanking on whether he should exile a mountain or not.
Yeah.
Because he's already up to 5 mountains. So if you get a mountain, then he's not going. His next, it looks like he did go. Oh no, he hasn't used it yet. Never mind. Maybe Corey just disconnected. Maybe he's not. Okay, no, he went for Valakut.
All right, but it was all for nothing. Andreas finds 3 damage of the lightning bolt and then sacks all the lands and go gets 18 damage via Valakut and 6 mountains.
Corey's been killing people with Scapeshift and Standard, so in some ways this is just justice.
I agree. You taste it now, yeah.
It's like, this is what he's been doing to people, so I don't even feel bad. He's my teammate, but I don't even feel bad for him.
That's fair.
Yeah, so down a game. I think we kind of expected that based on the opening hands and stuff, but I don't know. Do you think? I don't think the matchup changes that much after board. Maybe I'm wrong. But
no, I was just gonna go look at sort of Corey's sideboard here, and I mean, one way that he can get Andreas is by using his one-off Ghost Quarter, finding that with the scrying or a expedition map, and then using Surgical to remove them all. That is also a very tough sell, I think, in this particular matchup, because it requires Andreas to actually play out one of those Valakuts and not kill Corey in the same turn, basically.
Yeah, he has to draw a Valakut and lead on it. Corey has to get the Ghost Quarter and get the Surgical. Yeah, it's that. I mean, it can happen. It's probably Corey's plan.
Yeah, although I mean, it could also, it's somewhat transparent for Andreas if Corey sort of finds it with the scrying or the expedition map, and Andreas hasn't played the Valakut yet, then he can of course just keep it back because he knows the deck list, so he knows that 108 that Corey can get him is to board in the Surgical Extractions.
Yeah, looks like he also has Damping Sphere too, which that's also a big beating against Tron. So Corey,
I agree. I don't know if Corey in the last round. So Corey should probably bring a couple of Nature's Claim against this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering if Corey will decide to respect the Damping Sphere or not. Right now, it looks like he's not bringing in Claim or Surgical.
Yeah. It looks like he brings in... Are those Thragtusk? Are they main? No, probably not, right? So it looks like he's bringing in 3 Thragtusks, taking out the O-Stones. Okay. Looks like he is contemplating those Nature's Claims. Drop in some more O-Stones.
Yeah, I'm not sure Thragtusk is very good here. I mean, it does push you out of 7 landscape shift range, but there's always 8 landscape shifts, so...
That's true. And I mean, he's boarding out Dismember, which also is kind of anemic against scape shift. Andreas is not going to bring in any additional creatures like Tireless Tracker or Thragtusk himself. So Dismember is sort of a dead card, so I can see why Corey would just get rid of those at least.
Yeah, Dismember does not kill Primeval Titan.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Rory has a keepable 6. Just needs to find the 3rd Tron land. Andreas is gonna try and go for that turn 3 Acid Moss, but he needs to find a land to get there.
Yeah, he's looking for a land in time. Corey needs 1 Tron land to Karn on 3 on the play.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he can get to the turn 3 Karn on the play, he's probably golden.
Yeah, although Andreas does have the lightning bolt to take care of it if he decides to exile land immediately. So there's that insurance. And Andreas found the land here, so he is going to be able to make that turn 3 Acid Moss. So Corey needs to find one of the Tron lands quick.
Yep, he has 2 draw steps. or 3 draws, I guess, between the star, sphere, so on. Map will not do it. Did I just disconnect?
I think one of us did at least, but I think we're back now.
All right, we're good to go.
Yeah, it looks like Corey found an expedition map. So he can produce a turn 3 Tron, although probably not the way he wanted it to, since he has to spend 2 of his Tron mana to get there. So he only has 3 for the next turn.
Yeah, he's going to get mossed unless he rips exactly the piece he needs, which he did not. So
no, he's drawing pretty thin at this point. Needs to find Andreas probably. I mean, I think you always go for the Tron land that was played out last, because that's probably the one that they don't have multiples of. So Andreas should just target the tower here, and then Corey's in. He needs to find another one real soon.
Yep. So not only is the tower the one that produces the most mana if it gets assembled, but also, yeah, exactly what you just said. There's always that sub game of which Tron land do I blow up.
Yeah. I feel like whichever land they play first is the one they have most of. So I will not go after that, although that can of course backfire once I've said that.
But now that you've said it, anyone who plays against you, they're gonna play their one of Tron land first.
Maybe it's a double bluff, and I'm never going after the one.
Yeah. It's just like a Princess Bride sub game going on here.
All right, so Andreas found Primeval, and Corey's in a world of hurt. I don't see any way for him to get out of this. Even if he does find the tower, he has to take care of the Primeval Titan, and then Scapeshift will just clean it up.
Yep. I think he is. I think he is done.
I guess it played out kind of like we expected. Although Corey did not put up as good of a fight as one could have hoped from his side, at least. But I guess there were no people in this commentary who were rooting for him anyway.
That's right. Yeah, I'm rooting for him to get the win, but not to actually win the game.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I got you. All right. So the next matchup we got coming up, Mage Market, almost there now. 1-2, and we got. Let's see. We have Michael Bonde on Absan versus you on Ursa. So it should be an interesting match.
It should be. Yeah, I think the mid-range decks versus Urza are really interesting games. I think that they're pretty close, generally speaking, too. So
probably,
yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, we can jump out to a 3-1 lead. But we have blown it before, so even if we do get that one, it's definitely not over.
Yep. All right. So I guess that's it for me and Brian. We'll throw it to commercials and stay tuned for more action here at the Team Modern Super League Finals.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the finals of Team Modern Super League. I'm Andreas, and I'm joined by my favorite content creator in all of Magic. Hello, Corey.
Oh, that's high praise. Thanks, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, I feel kind of good because we just started the comeback, so hopefully we'll be here for several more hours, and I get to play match 7 as well. That's my goal right now.
Yeah, deep down, I still kind of want to see the match 7, even though I really want to win this and get things going.
Kind of a win-win situation, I guess you can say.
Exactly.
So I have a question for you, Corey. You seem like a very positive guy. So what's your reaction on the match we just played?
Well, I'm absolutely 100% positive that I got annihilated right there. Who would have guessed the land destruction deck that also combos and goes over the top was going to have a good matchup there?
Yeah, it was a bit more lopsided than I drew it up, but yeah, you're definitely right. On paper, I was ahead. Something like the die roll, if you have Tron on turn 3, those things can tip the scale, but generally, I'm on the same page as you.
And just in general, like a lot of the cards I have to disrupt my opponent in the form of like O-Stone or, even like World Breaker just doesn't even do that much. Even like taking out one of your lands, unless I can like do it on turn 3 where I can Karn, tick down. Like my whole plan for the match was like to get an early Karn and just start attacking your lands. Because I think that's the only way I can really do that. But then my Karns are left vulnerable to Lightning Bolt, and it just nothing really adds up in my favor like that.
Yeah, because even when you have your best draw like you described, you might only get a single activation off of it until it dies to Lightning Bolt. And I can sometimes recover from that. I guess I can do that a majority of the time.
Exactly. You have 4 mana Stone Rains that get you a land. I have 7 mana Stone Rains that die to Lightning Bolt. So
yeah, you're definitely right. So with the score at 2-1 in your favor, what do we have up next? I'm fairly sure I'm sending Michael into the arena.
Michael's going to the Thunderdome?
I think he's let me just check here to be sure. Match number 4 is Michael on Abzan midrange against BBD on the old version of Urza Thopter, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, you mean the superior version of Urza Thopter?
Yeah, that could be, but we actually already played that one, so we had to build another version for it to be on theme with our deck selection. But
no kidding. Yeah. By the way, I gotta give you mad props for doing a different deck every single time through the Modern Super Leagues. Like, I feel like you got a big break with all these bannings though, because that really opened the door on some new archetypes for you.
We definitely had some shady decks on the schedule until the bannings. So yeah, that was a gift, definitely.
Yeah, I watched your the last one that led you into the finals here, and I was like, what is that deck? So you guys have constantly been bringing the spicy tech. And it's really cool to see you guys also crushing with the spicy tech. We've been more kind of streamlined. I'm sure you've noticed our patterns.
Yeah. I think I predicted 4 out of your 5 decks for today. So you're kind of predictable, but sticking to what you know is also a great tool in the art of war here going on.
Yeah. Well, Andreas, I sent you the deck list before this. I was asking your opinion. That's how you knew it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not this time. Not this time.
Yeah, you're right.
So, who do you favor in this Abzan versus Urza matchup? Michael wasn't too happy when he talked about it before the show.
Yeah, it seems like just in general, these kind of mid-range decks that are trying to play fair Magic and control your opponent's creatures tend to have a problem with these decks that are also kind of doing the same, but then can have that big combo turn where they just go over the top and win the game on the spot. So I think if Bundy can, use his pass really advantageously to deal with Urza before, it starts getting out of hand, I think he can stand a chance here. But if not, BBD is going to infinite combo and kind of run away with this.
Yeah, it sounds like our players are ready. So instead of us predicting stuff, let's go to the actual game.
Yeah, let's see it ourselves here, huh?
So Michael won the die roll and has the perfect Plains Forest and Inquisition of Kozilek opener. So I imagine
just how you draw it up, right?
Yeah, not quite. But to be fair, Brian is most likely also gonna ship his hand back.
Yeah, I'll be curious because I do see BBD keeping a wider variety of hands with this deck because surprisingly, even though you only need a few cards for the combo, it's not really ideal, but he does decide to ship it and ships it into a much, much, much better hand. One card I want to ask you about, Andreas, is what do you think about Teferi Time Reveler in this matchup?
Oh, I don't think you should expect too much from it. It might just be like a tiny speed bump from Brian's side of the table to buy himself a little bit of time. But I guess the fact that Michael wouldn't be able to respond, I mean, react with instant speed removal could be relevant. But I think we're going to see it as a repulse, and it will die shortly, to be honest.
See, I'm the complete opposite. I think it's going to be busted, especially even in this game. If you can just ship the turn 2 creature, obviously with BBD being on the draw here, it's going to be a lot worse. But if you can ship the only threat on board, and then Bundy is left with these removal spells for creatures and maybe has to fire an Assassin's Trophy off on a Teferi, I think we could really see some problems here.
I see what you're saying, but then the play and draw comes into play where if Brian went first, he could have bounced the only creatures you described, and it would have been a great tempo play. But in this spot, Michael has the time to deploy 2 creatures, and it will be more like how I described the card.
But actually, if we flip that back, now we're going to have a Galvanic Blast here on end step, which will mean that when Bondi goes to play a threat, the Inquisition here is going to probably have something to say about that Teferi next turn, but he is going to be playing a creature and then getting it bounced by Teferi if BBD were to have the option. But more than likely, we're going to see like 2-drop Scavenging Ooze into Inquisition to take that option away, and it's going to kind of choke BBD out here.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Galvanic Blast swung the pendulum on the scenario we just discussed.
Yep.
Yeah, Michael, we didn't get to talk too much about it because I assumed it was a sure mulligan from his side, but he kept his hand and he drew the Black Source, and now he looks like he's a bit ahead.
Yeah, but look at this play, Andreas. Like, I don't know. I mean, starting off on Thoughtseize, I think is a little questionable for a couple reasons. Like, BBD doesn't have the critical mass of artifacts right now to be able to play Mox Opal into Urza. So no matter what, any 3-drop is going to be the impactful spell that BBD is going to have. And now he's not going to have a Thoughtseize for, the next play, but having 2 Urzas does make it a little difference. But now this Inquisition's just dead.
Yeah. I definitely had the same read. That was your window to fire off the Inquisition before Brian had access to 4 mana, because next turn Thoughtseize would have been great.
Any idea why you think he might have done it?
If he had a plan of spending all of his mana this exact turn, then firing off the Thoughtseize would give him more options of the previous one. That's the only one I can think.
Sure. Or he just really didn't want to miss, maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
So now we're firing this off, where instead BBD would be left without any Urzas in hand, and this path would be aimed at the 1 Urza, and BBD would have nothing.
So, to be honest, I haven't activated many Urzas in my time. What's the 5-mana build? It's kind of like a Mind's Desire, right?
It's shuffle and reveal the top card off. You can cast it. So I would imagine we're going to see an activation right now. But the one problem that BBD is kind of facing here is that Scavenging Ooze with some extra green sources on the board, it is going to make it basically impossible to combo with that sword.
Definitely.
Yep. Or I wouldn't say impossible, but it would choke BBD's mana because he'll always have to leave however much mana open compared to however much mana Bundy leaves open, green sources he leaves open. Because you can just sack in response and, and still dodge it from the graveyard. Hate. Oh, what a hit. Combo piece number 1.
There's a Thought the Foundry.
Yep.
So should Michael have responded with a path to Brian's activation?
I don't think so, because it's not like BBD can sack the Urza to it. I like actually waiting here because he goes path on end step, knowing that BBD has another Urza. He just wants to make sure there's not an Urza in play at end step. I think you either path like, you know, during Bundy's turn, or you path here at end step. I think I like this better.
Yeah, but if you plan on pathing on Brian's end step, why not path it in response to the activation? Because he can use that artifact for mana.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. No, you're right.
So it's just if you're gonna do it anyway, it's just a small upgrade.
Yep. No, makes sense to me.
So now Brian's gonna get a. I guess he's sacking the star to get a token. Yeah.
Yep. Sacking the star, getting a token, getting a free draw spell here, it looks like.
Yep. Nile Spellbomb.
Okay. Spellbomb not very impactful here. But now what I think we're going to see is almost no matter what Bundy wants to do, he has to leave Assassin's Trophy mana open.
Yeah. And depending on how, he only has one black source, so flashbacking Lingering Souls is not an option.
So I don't think he has a play this turn, which BBD is going to decipher what that means that he's leaving this open, and it just has to mean I don't have the list in front of me, but I think what we're going to see BBD do here is make sure he plays a land and sacrifices it so that he can go Urza, and then Bonnie's going to respond with the Assassin's Trophy, and then BBD will get one free activation off Urza.
Yep.
Ooh, are we not seeing that? Because that.
Yeah, because
he'd be one short here, right? Oh no, the construct. Ooh, I don't know about this.
So I don't know what Michael's afraid of here.
Well, it is 3 a.m., right? So maybe he's just afraid of sleep for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like we've been playing super tight today. Usually we are a bit more sharp.
I mean, to be fair, you guys are in hard mode constantly. I mean, you guys start at 3 a.m. We start at, prime hours of, either 8 p.m. or 6 p.m.,
So Brian only plays 3 basics?
One of each color it should be, but actually I have no idea. But so what we're going to do here is we're going to spin the wheel right now, or maybe he's more concerned with, getting in there, getting busy. Okay.
Attacking for 4?
Yeah, because I mean, I guess if you blind flip and you just hit a land, like it feels pretty bad, but.
Yep.
I wonder which graveyard he's targeting here. That'll be interesting. Is there any real creatures from either side? Probably not.
Michael has a Lingering Soul, so I guess that.
Oh, of course. And
that settles it. But if it wasn't for the Lingering Souls, he would have targeted most likely the graveyard with, the one that enables the biggest Goyf.
Exactly, and that definitely would have been BBD's. He had a Planeswalker. That's got to be enough right there. Okay, so once again, kind of an awkward turn from Bundy here, just because he can't double spell at all. He has to just leave open the Scavenging Ooze. And here's where things get kind of just out of control. BBD just gets to activate twice. And now you're just getting this value generated so much. And like we were saying, Andreas, what we're really seeing as a punishment here was that Inquisition on turn 3. That was one of the biggest things right now.
Definitely, because the difference of trading with a card and trading with nothing, and even time walking yourself, I guess you can call it. It's a pretty huge difference.
You say you're not playing tight, but I mean, you are 100% right. Trading with nothing is way, way, way worse than trading with something. That's expert analysis if I've ever heard it.
Oh yeah, it's premium content for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what are we seeing here? We got a Mindstone flip that immediately went into play. BBD has not played a land. Okay, just played a land. So he was basically wondering if he wanted to just be going all in on the attack plan.
Yeah.
So we got 6/6s here, right? I can't see how big the Goyf is.
It's a 4 or 5, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, 4 or 5.
We have Artifact, Land, Instant, and Planeswalker.
Okay, so BBD right here is questioning whether or not, because he can attack with both, but that means he can no longer activate Urza here. So basically what he's trying to consider is trading a construct for a Scavenging Ooze worth it. BBD says no, and it looks like we're probably going to get one more activation from Urza, leaving one construct open for defense, or maybe just respecting his life total and just saying go.
Yeah, I also I think BBD feels like if the game drags on and he's able to activate the Ursa over and over, he's in fine shape. So
that's fair. That sounds fair to me. Okay, so just the 1 damage coming in. We got 10 more turns to find an answer. Let's go. And of course, we do just have this Thopter at any point, but BBD's reluctant to block with it to keep his artifact count up.
Yeah, he's not super worried about the life total, unless he goes to 3, because we did put a sneaky Siege Rhino in there.
Oh, haven't seen that one cast in a couple years.
Me neither. I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to see that card cast.
No, I mean, Abzan Color's not playing Siege Rhino. I'm pretty sure that's a sin. Okay, so it looks like we might see Lingering Souls with Flashback. Yeah, I would do it here because 2 mana from Scavenging Ooze at this point of the game doesn't stop the combo at all. So
yeah.
So now we're just going to, but I mean, now we have a real clock, right? Like, I mean, this is a 3-turn clock here, so BBD does have to start flipping some goodies off the top.
Michael definitely has a plan here. So how does Whir of Invention work? You just play it for 0, right?
I think you have to. Yep, you can't convoke, so you just get a bobble, which whatever, it's reasonable. I mean, you definitely just use that 5 mana to spin again. I would imagine leave bobble open in case you want to draw a card.
See, this is Michael's way to victory here. Is Brian just finding some irrelevant, low impact cards for just a few more turns.
Yep.
The odds are not in Michael's favor, but that's the game plan he has in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd ask BBD, he'd say he's a massive underdog here.
Oh,
with the
okay.
luck factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so how big are these constructs now?
Yeah, see, that's also a problem that I just forgot about.
I mean, they're still only 6/6s, right?
Yep.
So this is still kind of the same thing. Like BBD here is trading Scavenging Ooze for a 6/6.
Yeah, I'm also expecting a double block, but let's see what Michael has drawn up. Yeah. Maybe a Maelstrom Pulse on top of his library.
Oh, that would just be great. I'd love it. Oh, getting the spirits.
Yeah, I like that one a bit more.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know how much I love Scavenging Ooze at this stage of the game. Like, it's really good when you're immediately maybe interacting with Goblin Engineer or something. But at this point of the game, I just don't know how much I love it. You know what the play I would really love to see from Bondi right here?
Let's hear it.
Is just take it. Just take it. Bring it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking it. Ah, dang it.
So he goes for your line of realizing that a single spirit token is more important than the Scavenging Ooze.
Yep. I think that's what I would do. Now it'll be interesting if BBD values the bigger, better creature or the Scavenging Ooze that makes his game plan a little annoying. And yeah, look at this. BBD thinks the same way as me at this stage of the game. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, mana's not a huge concern, to be honest.
So now this is interesting. Does BBD... It can activate again. Now does he bobble? Probably not. He wants to keep his artifact count and just stay the aggressor here. So BBD does have perfect information. He knows the card in Bondi's hand from turn 2. BBD knows Bondi's face up right now.
Yep. So Michael is drawing up the Siege Rhino for the win next turn. Attacking for 4 right now. I hope that Brian whiffs. I guess not.
Because all you got to do is get rid of one blocker, and then you're coming in for lethal, right? Even with all you got to do is get rid of the Batterskull, and it's game. But leaving the spirit back takes that away.
So, I guess another misclick happened. It's the night of misclicks.
So, this may not be as good of a misclick as Brad's. I'm not a statistician or anything, but this misclick seems like it's a little worse for you guys than it was. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we actually paid the interface of Magic Gathering Online to to be on our side here for this.
You guys are sure 2 for 2 on that account.
God, yeah, that is a huge misclick for anybody who missed that. The Hissing Quagmire was activated instead of the Batterskull being clicked, and with the mana already floated, you can't really untap. So that is an unfortunate situation here. So we got double Engineer, which ironically doesn't do much without the Thopter Foundry.
Yeah.
It's a warm body though, which is completely fine.
Definitely, especially with the 2 lethal threats in play, forcing Michael to double single block.
Yeah. Yeah, that Batterskull is really would have messed with combat here. A 4/4 lifelinker would have made it so BBD has to think about leaving something back or expecting to have to block with the Goblin Engineers. But now with, with the unfortunate misclick, BBD is probably going to just put the pedal to the metal here.
Yeah, it's a lot more straightforward.
That's Thopter. Is that game? That's game. Now, Goblin's Engineers for the Sword of the Meek, throws it in the yard, taps some tokens.
Yeah.
Infinite Thopters, infinite life. So little did that misclick actually matter because BBD was going to be comboing off there. Yeah.
And that's definitely good for our psyche.
Yeah, exactly. If BBD just won with a fair game of life points with like by 1 or something, that one would have hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so what do you like here from the sideboard? Let's start with Bundy. What do you like from this?
Of course, I like the collector roofs. They're just great at negating the Thopter combo, of course, and also disrupting some stars and some opals. Then I see he's also bringing in the Engineer, and I suppose that's to cover the Thopter combo even more, because I guess the Death Touch body can be good against a huge construct as well.
Yeah, but I mean, just the value blockers from Thopter Sword. We heard it. We weren't playing round 1, so me and you were kind of typing back and forth here, friendly banter for round 1. But we heard them say that BBD was really hyped that there were no Engineers, against the Infect deck. And I mean, I think just being able to shut down small amounts of creatures in any regards, as well as have a warm body, I just think Plague Engineer is one of the better cards right now in sideboarding. And with Hogak gone, I think it's going to really run rampant as a premium sideboard card in any kind of black-based deck.
Yeah, aggro is in a kind of a tough spot if it has to face Plague Engineer and Batterskull on a regular basis.
Yeah, I don't think elves are coming back here with too much force.
It looks like he also likes the surgical extraction, so he really has a lot to cover the Thopter Foundry angle of Brian's deck. But I'm really worried about him just losing to Urza like the game we just witnessed.
Yep. So I want to point out one interesting thing that BBD is doing that I wouldn't normally think to do. He's taken out the ensnaring bridge. He's just like, there's way too many answers in Bundy's sideboard. I don't think I'm going to win by locking Bundy out here. I just want to go for the win, bringing in some Tezzerets as some plan Bs against these kind of oof strategies and stuff. And I think that's really smart.
Yeah, for sure. That's the way to go against these black mid-range decks. Just make sure you have a high
hand from Bundy.
Yeah, I guess you have to keep it and hope for the best.
You keep that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we saw BBD on the mulligan or not, but if that's a 7, that hand is nice.
It
looks like it.
So Michael shipped that hand back.
Yep, I kind of agree with them. I mean, like, those Goyfs aren't going to get too big right away. Not like BBD throws a lot of cards in the graveyard on purpose. I think that's a good disciplined mulligan.
Yeah, and that could be it. I'm not the best at mulliganing, to be fair.
Yeah, me too. I don't like to do it. Why start with 6 cards when you can start with 7? I mean, it's just basic. All right, so we got a Astrolabe and a Bobble coming from BBD. Taking a look at upkeep to see what he draws. He's not going to like the sights of that one, but little did he know he didn't need it.
Collector Roof is definitely a nice one. But yeah, there's no way to tell from Brian's side that Michael has an additional one. And now with the Galvanic Blast, he'll get to witness it.
Yep. And BBD getting max punish for the lands that he searched. He's unable to cast anything. So this is yeah.
Right. I forgot about that one. He was actually counting on the Astrolabe to filter his red mana. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I think maybe with those things, he didn't have the blast. If he had the blast, he would have for sure gotten a snow-covered mountain. Yeah. But the way it stands now, BBD is gonna cast a couple of useless artifacts, and he's going to just ship it back.
Yeah, because if there was only one Collector Oof on the battlefield, this game plan of developing the artifacts and then killing off the Oof and getting instant access to them would be nice. But with two out, it's going to be a bit more iffy.
So that's huge. That was an insane draw. So not only is this going to get so we don't have a Sacred Foundry. Well, that can't get Sacred Foundry. So it's going to either get like Hallowed Fountain or Steam Vents. I mean, that was huge. So now BBD has the option of playing Urza. And let us viewers out there not forget that Urza can still activate the ability to tap the artifacts to make sure that they can add mana, but they cannot actually activate on their own. This is interesting. Right.
So Brian goes for a white source.
Very interesting. So that only is a temporary band-aid on the problem here.
That's like the scenario I described for game 1, where you just get to bounce a creature and then it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, now we're gonna see Goyf and Oof hit the battlefield with a fatal push to kill Urza by sacrificing the land. So I mean, this is
Michael's done a great job.
This is looking great for Bondi.
Oh yeah. Michael's done a great job of sandbagging the second fetch land he had to make Fatal Push more flexible later on.
100%. And he could have the option of using Ghost Quarter plus Fatal Push to kind of do some work here, but...
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's also a Revolt outlet.
So the nice thing about this, though, is now Bondi does have to choose between what is more important. He can actually cast Tezzeret here too. I don't know how great this. I mean, I guess you just turn one of your Chromatic Star into a 5/5.
I was about to say that turning your star into a 5/5 is definitely great.
Okay, all of a sudden, are we ahead over here on the brothers who do some bashing?
Yeah, I actually think you are.
Huh. Well, that's fortunate. Yeah, I didn't even see that line, but BBD set that up nicely where there was actually no response, where Bundy had the opportunity to Fatal Push that, so he couldn't actually Tezzeret here. Ooh, big draw.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a removal spell.
Yeah. It's a removal spell that does draw BBD a card, though, so that is not nothing.
Definitely not.
Oh, it ticks up.
He decides to get rid of the last card in Brian's hand and go from there. But now the power of the +1 from the Tezzeret Agent of Bolas will kick into effect.
It will kick in, but it's getting useless artifacts, right? Like, I mean, I think the best thing you can get is like an Astrolabe, which will, just draw you a normal card here.
Yeah, or maybe, sure.
Yeah.
But if he can create some kind of stalemate, the ultimate is not too far off.
That's true. That's true. But I feel like Liliana is going to race that ultimate where, I mean, if you just down tick twice in a row here, BBD doesn't have the luxury of waiting for an ultimate. I think he's deciding right now is if he has the time to even not activate the negative ability on Tezzeret this turn or activate for value here. Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is pretty good. He decides to wait on his Tezzeret activation, depending on what happens during this combat step.
Yeah. So he's getting rid of the Goyf.
Yep.
So now I think BBD is, priced into having to make a creature.
5/5s are good in the face of couple of Grizzly Bears.
So what do you do here, Andreas? Do you negative Liliana, sacrifice an oof to kill Tezzeret? Or do you just
I didn't
wait
think
one
about
more
the I didn't think about the double attack, but that's definitely not a bad one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know which one I like better.
The thing is now, if Brian attacks, you kind of lose that oof anyway.
Yeah. That's a big oof.
Oh yeah, big oof.
Actually, I think that Ghost Quarter play was quite good for. I mean, the second one was pretty strong, but I mean, we don't really have any other black cards of relevance. If I'm thinking off the top of my head here, I mean, I think we have more red cards in the form of Galvanic Blast than another Tezzeret.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that. Okay.
Yeah. Pedal to the mill.
Where are these going? Face is the place.
Yeah, I like that plan. Brian has
Me
just
too.
created a basically unbeatable board for Michael, and despite Collector Oof sticking throughout the whole game, not much to be done here.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, Andreas, I mean, one thing we saw in this matchup is you can attack the Urza deck in such a way where you shut down their artifact plan, but then they just go with the Urza plan. This deck is so versatile and it's so able to just kind of hit you from every direction that if you over sideboard against one certain way that they're trying to kill you in, the other side usually kind of gets it done.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of how players are playing against Izzet Phoenix. I guess that's a thing of the past now, but it's kind of the same thing. If you have a bunch of graveyard hate, you lose to Aria Flame and Thing in the Ice. If you sit there with a chain removal, the Birch will just get you. So yeah, it's pretty. I like the flexibility of the Urza deck in the same regard.
Exactly, because the Urza deck knows what it wants to be doing. It knows the direction it wants to be attacking their specific decks, but sideboarding against you is always hard. So it really leaves your opponents wiggle room to make mistakes. Not saying that Bundy did, but it's just a hard deck to sideboard against. That's why Urza is so strong.
It's definitely a strength of the deck. So now the score is 3-1. So with our backs against the wall, I'll have to win another match with my Living End deck, which is in the arena against your Mardu deck.
Oh yeah, I don't know much about BBD's Mardu deck here, but Living End, huh? We'll see how much graveyard hate he has for you. But I will remind you, Andreas, we not only went to a game 7 when we were down, or when we were up 3-1 last week, we were up 3-0 and game 7 still happened. So
you have what it takes to get the job done, even though you rattle off a couple of wins. So you have the good mentality for it.
Yeah, we have the choking capabilities. I think we can do it tonight as well. So
it would be awesome. So that does it for round 4, and we'll be back with round 5 after the break.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Michael Bonda. I'm here with Wizard of the highest degree, world champion, pun master, Ursa master, Mr. Brian Browndoing himself. What's up, Brian?
What's up? What's up? Yeah, I left my wizard cap at home, or I am at home. Never mind. Don't know where it's at, but yeah. How you doing?
Even the camera got scared. It got all blurry.
Yeah, I think when I moved in, it just couldn't handle it.
So that was a rough beating, Brian.
Yeah, that was kind of a beating. Yeah, I mean, there's Urza. I think is prepared for a lot of decks in the format. Sometimes it's not prepared for Hissing Quagmire activation, but
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared either.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. But I think me ripping like what I needed the next turn, I think I would have gotten that game anyway.
Yeah, I agree. And I've even been on both sides of the matchup. I played Jund, which is even more favored, if you can even say favored against Ursa, and I played Ursa. And I think I liked the matchup, even though they kind of tend to go long. I think it's favored in their Ursa's side of the board.
Yeah, so I was winning a lot against Jund when I tested the deck for the Mythic Championship. I think I was like 66% around there against Jund, but I don't know if like how valuable that, because like that was when Urza was still new. People didn't know how to play against it and stuff. So yeah, I don't feel bad when I get paired against that matchup as an Urza player. I think I have a lot of game.
Yeah, I agree. So we're looking at a let's see, we're looking at a Living End, Blast from the Past against Mardu. So I've heard that you're the mastermind behind both sideboard guides and deck list submissions. So how come you choose Mardu?
Well, I love a bad deck. What can I say? No, I think that Stoneforge is really good in a kind of disruption shell, kind of similar actually to what you were playing in your Abzan deck, actually. And so I thought Mardu might be a decent home for it. You get like Unearth, you get Kolaghan's Command, Seasoned Pyromancer and stuff. I think it certainly has some potential. I imagine this particular list is going to be horrific, but I think down the line we'll see some Mardu Stoneforge decks that do something.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So you're only doing the 2 Battleskull main, and you have the Sword of Fire and Ice in the sideboard. So how did you come up with those numbers?
I rolled a dice. Now, I actually really like the double Batterskull with Stoneforge, because a lot of times you play Stoneforge and then you get Thoughtseize the next turn, or some other reason why you're not able to get the Batterskull into play, and having or you just draw too many Stoneforge Mystics, and then having a backup Batterskull just gives you access to that. There's probably supposed to be also a sword in the main, but I honestly didn't even know. I don't know which sword is good. Like, there's so many sword options, and I don't know what's a good sword for Modern. I saw you were playing Light and Shadow.
Yeah, I think specifically in a deck like this, Light and Shadow could really come to a, like when you discard cards to the Seasoned Pyromancer and getting them back, so you always have a target. Like I'm saying always, but you have a target most of the time for the Light and Shadow, and it gets protection from the Fatal Push and from the Path to Exile, which is kind of annoying against a deck with Young Pyromancer. So it might be like one of the swords, but there are so many great swords. But we also have some great players on the battlefield that we are gonna go down to and see them battle it out for 4-1 winner, or a 3-2 and more matches. So let's hope for more matches.
Yeah. Living End, I haven't seen that deck a lot lately, but I actually really like playing against Living End because I feel like the games are always ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they bowl you over, but there's a lot of time. I mean, it's like, you're saving your fetch land so you can fetch push your own creature, things like that. Like,
they are kind of
Magic.
I agree. They're kind of like a bit different Magic games than what you're used to. And how do you think the matchup is between Mardu and Living End? Or Andreas against Brad, if you also want to comment on that.
So Andreas against Brad, I think Andreas is definitely favored. But the matchup of Mardu versus Living End, I would guess Living End is probably a favorite, but I would guess it's probably not by that much.
No, okay. So why do you say that it's not by much?
Um, I tend to find that some of these decks actually can hang pretty well with Living End if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, if Brad plays a Seasoned Pyromancer and discards 2 creatures to it, or plays Stoneforge and gets a Batterskull and then pushes his own Stoneforge in response to a Living End, gets another Batterskull, he
Yeah.
can sometimes grind through the first Living End, and
Yeah.
then maybe then the second Living End is going to be worse. I've seen fair decks be able to compete weird ways with Living End before. So
Yeah. I can definitely see those points being valid, and it seems like Brad here is just trying to get rid of all the cascades, and he's probably not gonna play a creature into like the cascade spell before he can deal with whatever Andreas puts on the battlefield.
yep, I think there's considering it's both Demonic Dread. Uh, as long as there's no targets, there's a Simian Spirit guy that could just get hard cast next turn.
Yep.
Wouldn't be surprised to actually see that. And that provides a target for Demonic Dread. Yeah, interesting to think of what to take here, because you could take a Cycler, but then it's not accomplishing that much. But taking one of 2 Demonic Dreads also maybe isn't accomplishing that much.
No, I definitely agree, and I also see the Lion taking away the Simian Spirit guy.
Yeah,
because you don't really want to kill it, because it's just going to get back when you apply a creature on the battlefield. And Andreas can hardcast it and then target it with Demonic Dread, swapping the graveyards. But Brad went with the Demonic Dread, probably relying on drawing an additional what's it called? An additional
discard
spell, yeah. So that it's not just a blank draw from the top.
Yeah, if Brad rips a discard spell here, then he's actually in fine shape. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
This was actually a pretty nice draw from Andreas, getting the Fulminate Mage, since Brad can't really kill it with an upside. So if he kills it, Andreas is just going to go for the Shambling Vent, which could be like a creature that could like chip some damage in before a potential Cascade spell.
Yeah. So Brad's in a spot here where if he probably has to throw a bolt at the Fulminator because of Demonic Dread.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, like exactly what you said, that's just not a really appealing play, especially since now any creature that ever comes down, that's a fully stocked graveyard ready to come back, including another piece of land destruction and Fulminator a second time. So
he could also play the Seasoned Pyromancer and discard the Young Pyromancer. But I think that would probably be a better play next turn, so that he could get back the Seasoned Pyromancer if that was a play, like killing it in response of the Demonic Dread. But I think those lines are a bit too risky like if you look at the graveyard that Andreas is having here.
Yeah.
Since there are both the Arc-themed and a lot of power on the battlefield. So 1 or 2 cyclers from the top of the deck, and then it's pretty much game over. So I like the play from Brad here, just getting rid of the Fulminator Mage going into the late game or mid game.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. I think that Brad's in some trouble, but as long as he can just keep no creature in play long enough to, he could just draw a discard spell too. Like, if he rips a discard spell next turn, he goes Pyromancer plus discard, and then bricks off a couple times. There's maybe a chance.
Yep.
That's probably going to seal the deal, though. A Fulminator.
Yeah, but is it though? So I guess if Andreas plays it now, he can't really Demonic Dread, but if he plays it later, then he'll play it, keep like half the priority, and then cast Demonic Dread.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Yeah, he might want to wait for next turn. If he draws land 6, then he can do it. And if he draws a spell, it might be something he can even just hard cast, like one of his fat creatures. So
yeah, I like having the land, the random top deck land at this point is kind of bad. So having it as a potential true top deck that can seal the game, I like that. And then trying to dodge one of Brad's 5 discard spells. And I even think a discard spell from the top of the deck wouldn't be that awful, since Andreas then can play Fulminate Mage and kill off the Sunbaked Canyon.
Yep. Brad is only on 3 lands and only 1 red source as well. So, yeah, like there's almost no wrong way to do it here. I mean, I kind of like the line of not casting it and waiting, and seeing what you draw next turn. But even if he does just run it out there, he's still taking Brad down a land, and Brad doesn't really have many ways out.
No, but he is probably gonna fire off the Terminate here end of turn just to make the best use of his mana. Okay, he's not.
So he might crack Sunbaked Canyon and then Fatal Push.
Yeah. So
I think that's what I would do here. That also protects. Well, it allows your Blackcleave to come into play untapped, but not that really matters.
No,
if he
because
draws a discard.
Yeah. The problem here is oh yeah, that's so he'll keep the red source, but he's gonna lose the Champagne Vents here.
Yep.
So I actually think this is in the category of a weird / crazy game already. Since Brad has like this pretty stock hand, and that's like if it wasn't for the Living End mechanic or the Cascade mechanic, Brad would have just played all his Pyromancers, just gone berserk. But because of the known demonic dread, he's just waiting here, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and then here's just a straight up
hardcast Street Wraith.
Street Wraith, but it's gonna get terminated.
Yeah.
So pretty insane.
So yeah, sorry.
Andreas could even just draw a Living End and just suspend it too here.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that bad of a draw.
So I still think the Brad, yeah, so he's just passing with all the creatures. Speaking of.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. The only problem here is
he drew a Thoughtseize. Wow, the race is on.
Yeah, so here we have it. So Suspended Living End is 3. Yes, so it goes down to 2, and there's a land drawn.
Oh my goodness, is Brad gonna do it? Is that okay? Kolaghan's Command, what does that do? I don't think it does that much.
It can take the. It can do like the shoot and discards.
Yep.
But maybe it's better on the next. No, not the next turn. It doesn't do much. Since if he plays Young Pyromancer, attack for 3. Theirs goes down to 2. Then the Living End goes down to 1. Then he can't really deal lethal.
So
before the Living End.
Yeah, so Living End's going down to 2 this turn, right? So
no, I think going down to 1. It's gonna come in like in 2 turns.
Okay, I think it. Yeah, you're right. It's suspend 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah. So I don't know how.
I think he's gonna see if it's an actual live card that Andreas has in hand, and just pass the turn and shoot. Since casting the Young Pyromancer is probably just gonna deal 2 damage. Since it's gonna get away.
He might have to just deal 2 damage though.
Oh, and not this card?
He's gonna have to burn him. He's gonna have to burn him out somehow, right? So he's gonna be a little bit short, I think.
So Andreas can actually play the card here just to.
Yeah, just put a 4/4 body out there.
I don't know what the name of Horror of the Broken Land. That's a pretty long name. Yeah, just to just to negate some damage here.
I've played a good bit of that card in limited.
Yeah, me too. It was pretty nice. No blocks. Okay, game over.
Yep. It's actually kind of the Living End just got such a massive upgrade from like Amonkhet block.
Yeah.
Because like horror, once you Living End, you just get like an Archfiend of Ifnir and a Horror of the Broken Lands, and then like any future cyclers you draw, like they actually do things. It's kind of actually pretty insane.
So I like here if Brad actually call against command, shoots Andreas for 2, and then discards his own Young Pyromancer or the Seasoned Pyromancer, because he knows that Living End is gonna get on the battlefield next turn, so he's gonna die if he's not like putting some pressure on the board.
Yep, I like shoot for 2, discard Young Pyromancer.
Yeah.
Next turn, attack. Your creatures are dying anyway, and then see what you rip.
Yeah, he could also kill his own Young Pyromancer and discard a Pyromancer.
He could.
But he opted not to. He opted us to deal
Ooh.
1 extra damage here. Ooh, it would have been a great play to kill the Pyromancer and discard a Pyromancer, because now he could have discarded the other Pyromancer and maybe get back into the game. But it's I think at this point it's looking pretty grim for Brad, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the combination of Street Wraith, double Fulminator Mage, and the fact that it's a one-shot board, even Young Pyromancers I don't think would be enough. The 2 Fulminators would probably lock it up.
Yeah, and Andreas is probably thinking here, can he burst me out if I don't if I go down to 7? And it is not possible. So he's just gonna block one of them, see what happens, and then probably bump both of Brad's lands, making him having only a Godless Shrine left.
That is probably what's gonna happen, yeah.
But I think Brad is gonna kill the Young Pyromancer and discard the Young Pyromancer here.
Yeah. You might discard Seasoned Pyromancer. I actually like that better.
Yeah, I like it as well. So now Andreas needs to draw a cycler for him to pretty much have lethal on the board, I think.
Yeah. So Brad gets to pitch both. Yeah, Did I miss something? Why did the
Young Pyromancer why didn't it enter the battlefield? He didn't kill it with the Colligan's Man? What is that again?
Maybe he did not.
Okay, yeah. It's just like, why is there only one on the battlefield? Okay, so how have you puppeteered Brad into sideboarding here, Brian?
Well, I told him to bring in Surgical Extraction, and then I left him to his own devices. So hell yeah. No, yeah. I think I don't actually know how you're supposed to board exactly. There's a number of cards that are options. For example, Fulminators of your own, I think on the play especially can be quite good.
Yeah,
you can keep them off of Demonic Dread or Violent Outburst, and then also you get them back too once a Living End occurs. I think Pithing Needle is actually a possibly playable option where you can name a cycler with it and maybe shut that down, or name Fulminator Mage with it and shut that down too. So.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So the chat is saying that Andreas shocked. He did indeed shock. Andreas got shot. Brad shocked Andreas.
Okay.
Since the Pyromancer didn't really do much on the board.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how I kind of missed how Andreas boarded. I assume not too much, but maybe he brought in like Shriekmaws or something.
Yeah, I actually didn't see it either, but not having that many any artifact cards, I don't even know if he brought in Shriekmaws. The thing about Living End is it's like a fine-tuned engine that you can't really take that much out. You can't really take that much in. Since you have Beast Within, you're kind of like all round ready for most hate.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can't you don't want to cut too much of the engine, or you'll just not be able to do it. You'll have bad draws. So
Yeah, and also you can't really put in any convertible cost 1, 2, or 0. So you also
that is true. I had a match once playing against Living End where I went all in hoping that they didn't have the Violent Outburst, and then they
yeah.
did, and they cascaded into Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool.
And yes, Gavin Kibaba. We are playing with the new ban list since there's a Stoneforge Stoneforge Mystic on the battlefield. So it's probably gonna get the Skull, and then we're off to the races with some cyclers. And the rest has actually put some a lot of cyclers in the bin here. So he's probably just looking for the Cascade spell, and there it
Found it.
is. So do you think he's gonna fire it off now?
Probably should, because if he lets Brad on tap, Brad can do something like bolt your young Pyromancer.
Yep. Yeah, I like just firing off now, getting 9 damage on the battlefield, and get to look at the top 3 cards of your own library, having like a bad ponder with the Verdant Catacombs.
Yeah, you could also just look at Brad's library and try to screw him off of cards. Not sure. Looks like he's.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing that, right? Since it has the arrow. I think I like trying to screw Brad, but Brad having like 3 cards in hand that Andreas doesn't know, it could be like some good cards against what Andreas has on the board. So I like doing the Verdant Catacomb just to get the best card from the top of the deck, to see if you can get like either Cyclers or nice Living End, or or some Cascade spells.
So Brad, Andreas left Brad with a fetch land. Brad opted to not use it. So Brad's basically saying, I'm banking on those other 2 cards being good.
Yeah. And I would be kind of surprised if Andreas doesn't kill one of his own lands end of turn here, on end of turn on Brass.
Ooh, another fetch land.
Yeah. So much for the buff.
Yeah, this Batterskull, if Brad doesn't put a swamp into play, the Batterskull could actually be pretty big.
Yeah, so with the Batterskull in hand, Andreas knowing that Brad has 2 fetch lands, I guess I was a little bit too hasty on my comment regarding the Beast Within.
Yeah, he decides against. I think Brad knows about the Beast Within as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he knows if he just goes fetch Batterskull, it's not going to pan out for him.
And Dmod in the chat, the stars are how many games each team has won. So
yeah.
Brothers Who bashed us 3 times to our 1 star. So we have 1 win against the 3 wins, and it is best of 7, so first to 4 wins. So Seasoned Pyromancer is a pretty neat draw here, since it goes around having to put a swamp on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, if you discard the Batterskull, you get a token.
Yeah.
But if you keep the Batterskull, you could play it the next turn. But if you discard 2 lands, then you don't get a token, and then you are dead on board.
Yeah, close to at least.
I think he's got a pitch Batterskull.
Yeah, and once again, it's like a weird game where 3 creatures are. Oh, that was a pretty neat draw here. But again, like the Mars Flash is really annoying with the Street Wraith.
Yeah, like there's no good way to get a young Pyromancer into play right now. So Brad's probably just not going to do it.
And I think Andreas here, if he kills his own one of his own land with Beast Within, he can force Brad into a pretty bad block here. So I think he's gonna fire it off on the fetch land.
Yep, Brad's gonna have to. Brad probably will just double block and then hope to get there with young Pyromancer.
Yeah. But if he tends to double block, then it's 6 damage. So Brad goes down to 2, having 2 fetch lands on the board. It's also kind of awkward since you can't do the token shenanigans. But he is gonna double block. You know your brother who bashes better than I do.
And
but I also like this play because you have to play to your outs, and
yeah,
I think this is one of your.
I think you also fetch here. You turn the Marsh Flats into a Sacred Foundry, and then
hopeful Lightning Bolt. So a Lightning Bolt here or Terminate would be pretty big. Blood Crypt is definitely not what you want to see.
No, Blood Crypt's not it.
So you can double creature and get 1 additional turn, but I don't think there's any draw that can get Brad back.
Yeah, I don't know if there is. Especially, there's going to be a nice old country 4/4 for 5 coming down next turn as well. Ready to bring additional pain.
Yeah, ready to break the land.
That's actually just straight up game right there. Demonic Dread for classic mode of target creature can't block. Don't cast the Living End.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's gonna be it. I said that I thought Mardu had a chance. Didn't look like it in those games, but
but it was some like, even though it was kind of like in Andreas's favor most of the time, I think the games were pretty interesting because Brad has so many decisions in every single turn, which is not very modern like. Maybe in the new era of Stoneforge and Fatal's Looting and Hogak, plus and minus, but yeah, those were some great decisions and some cool games.
Yeah, definitely. That was a spot where usually against a deck like Living End, sometimes you don't get to make any decisions, and he actually had a lot of really, really interesting choices for sure.
Yep. And Brian, it has been a pleasure as always. We're gonna see each other in Richmond. I don't think before that, but maybe I'm gonna see some sweet plays from you later on. And it has been nice doing commentary with you.
It has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure. I can't.
Hopefully, your team will lose the next 2 games, and
I hope not. Yeah, but you know what? We've done it before. We'll do it again.
Yeah. So that was it. We're gonna go to commercial break, and then we'll be back with the 6th game of the night. Hopefully, not the last game. So see y'all in a bit, and bye-bye.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs. CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello and welcome back to Team Modern Super League Finals. A little bit of technical difficulties. Corey's computer has crashed. Sounds like you're used to this.
He went on vacations like it won't be a problem. We'll be able to do the Brothers Who Bash. We'll be able to do the Bash Bros podcast. Nothing will happen. I got this. And now I think he is through two computers trying to play the sixth match. So I was panicking for a second, and then you've been here around the block before. You had a pretty smart fix for this.
Yeah, BBD actually suggested it. It was the right answer. I would have suggested it as well. Yeah. We're just going to swap match 6 and 7. So we're going to play match 7 now, what was labeled match 7. So this is Andreas playing again, his third match of the day. It's BBD playing his third match of the day, but whatever. They would have been match 7 if we got there. We'll just go ahead and play that. So it's
the show must go on.
The show must go on. This is Titan Shift versus Urza. And then assuming that the Mage Market extends it, hopefully by then Corey will be done with updates and we can have Thomas and Corey play their match as the final match of the night.
I mean, that'll be an exciting Tron versus Tron game 7, right?
That's what the whole season should come down to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like which Tron deck gets luckier. I like that. That's how we will end it. So I like this switch, right? But this is a really cool matchup as well. It is two decks.
I was going to say, you think we're going to get there? We only get to Tron versus Tron if BBD loses. I don't know that BBD loses with this Urza deck. I haven't seen it much.
He doesn't lose often in Magic, but this matchup is where things get tricky, right? Like both decks have a very linear combo, but they have minimal disruption for each other. But the fact matters is one deck has way more consistent pieces. So like, while Urza does have the Urza plus getting all of the stuff, Scape Shift or any type of Valakut, like, throwing everything onto the battlefield strategy can overpower that except for the infinite combo. Also, those damping spheres can do a little bit of damage in those early development stages. And with having Lightning Bolt, that's going to help against any Engineer shenanigans. Now, Engineer is just going to be a combo piece. Go get the Sword of the Meek. Try to get that combo fast. But, it's going to be, up to Brian to have minimal disruption with Thoughtseizes and stuff like that and get over the finish line. Because I do believe that we didn't come prepared for this matchup. We have a couple Tezzerets to beat down. We have some Thoughtseizes, but there's 3 Ceremonious Rejections, and we got the wrong pairing for this deck for which mana matchup it has. Like that's for the Tron matchup. Yeah. So Scape Shift and Living End were both phenomenal choices for market. I was going to say that to Andres for commentary until we had to switch everything around. But I didn't think that tonight was going to go this way. We had like all of our close matchups go our way, but the 2 that I felt we were going to lose, we have now lost. And so,
all right, our players are ready. Things sit at 3-2. Let's see match 6. 3-2 for the Brothers Who Bash. If BBD can take this down with his Urza deck, we're done. The brothers are our champions, and we'll hand out some prizes. Prizes are Magic Online boosters. Actually, probably going to wait for the next set to come out before we hand any of them out, but still, you're playing for dozens of digital objects.
There's dozens of us.
There's actually like 100 on the line, but
yeah. No, it's great.
50 apiece.
Yeah, it helps us for drafting for Mythic Championship 6, which will be nice. And I burned through those packs pretty quickly when I'm testing. So I remember last season when I got this was a welcome. We won the Standard Super League. It was a welcome to get all those booster drafts. I used those packs, trust me.
Makes sense.
This is exactly the nightmare scenario Brian had to mulligan into a non-combo hand. Well, Andres is on the play. Winning the die roll is huge, but also just has that streamlined draw. Like I said,
Surge into Farseek. This is going to be a turn 4 Primeval Titan?
Yeah, and for people at home,
turn 3 Hour of Fortune.
Yeah, so we're going.
Sorry, whatever that card is.
Oh yeah, no, this is bad. This is just the perfect curve. But this is something to take home for people. Like, while Urza probably has the more powerful engine and can turn 3 kill, it has 3 pieces it needs, and they're non-redundant. Whereas Titan Shift has numerous ways to get the Valakuts and the triggers into play, as well as accelerating. So this is bad. Even without a snow permanent for that Astrolabe to get into play. I mean, I almost don't even like, is this going to be Mox into Mox? I think popping the star, because I think what Brian has to do is try to get lucky. And to get lucky, it's find Urza as fast as possible.
There's Urza.
The issue, we still need two more pieces. We need a land, and we need that. But that gives a little bit of hope, maybe.
All right. Well, here's the Searcher tomorrow. That's land 4. Land drop makes 5. Hour of Promise. Couple of Valakuts already in play, ready for Primeval Titan to come down next turn. Wow, it's Primeval Titan and a Lightning Bolt.
It's already lethal. Like, just getting 2 mountains is 4 triggers, and the Wooded Foothills in hand is lethal as well. So
one in his hand makes 20.
Yeah, the funny thing is that with losing the life, that'll be lethal. Brian can get back up to 18, but even the Lightning Bolt is 21 damage. There's more than there's more than I can count. Or
how about Escape Shift for good measure?
That does do it.
Wow, that is just turn 4 lethal out of the Titan Shift deck, huh?
Yeah, no, the deck is very good, but it's only good if the format isn't doing even more disgusting things than it, right? Like, this is the kind of deck that likes to fight fair, and right now with Stoneforge coming back, the format gets fair. I was thinking about going into this deck, but I didn't pull the trigger for us for this week, and then when I saw it, I kind of regretted that decision. But
yeah, I'm not used to seeing it win on turn 4 either. I mean, a lot of the times it's sort of playing this control role, but I guess there's no blue mana in this version of the deck. It's just a little more aggressive and a little faster, I guess.
Yeah, this is the leaner version. The other version, like the snow versions, are I call them remand versions. They're the ones that need to interact.
Right.
But if the format becomes more mid-range, you don't even want to interact. Like, you don't even want to spend that time, because people are playing, like, the interactive spells that you just would rather have your consistency.
Yeah, it's hard for the opponent to interact with Rampant Growth and then Scape Shift or Primeval Titan.
The only time that I found that the remand versions of Scape Shift are good are when you're trying to interact with combo decks. Okay. And that is going to, break serve.
All right. Well, you guys had a 3-1 lead, but Andreas Peterson halfway toward evening it up at 3 apiece.
Yeah, I mean, this I didn't like seeing Titan Shift from Mage Market when I felt like we might lose these 2 matchups and the Living End one, and then can't lose any of the other matches. And so far, I'm actually happy with our 3-2 presently, honestly.
Okay.
Like, I thought we would have been in worse position. I actually thought we were going to lose 4-2 if I had to guess. And yeah, that's a bad way to think about things, but I played so many tournaments and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, on paper, I felt like this was a 4-2.
This turn 1 does not suck from Brian. Astrolabe into Opal into Thoughtseize.
It does not, especially because this is going to break up the 2-4-6, as I like to call it. And so taking the Sakura Tribe Elder means that if Andres doesn't draw any early acceleration, then that kind of breaks off. But you could see, I'm an aggressive player.
Yeah, I was gonna say you take Tribe Elder here and just try to, wow. Okay, BBD agrees with you. My first instinct was Summoner's Pact since it's the only business card in the hand, but I totally see your point.
So you break up the potential chance. Like now Andres has to draw a 2-man accelerant in the first 2 draw steps for it to gain value. If you take the Summoner's Pact, that allows for Andres to have 3 turns or 4 turns, 4 draws to draw into an effect similar to the Summoner's Pact. The interesting thing is, what do we? Yeah, so we're just going to try to combo.
Didn't have either half of the combo, so he goes for sword.
Yeah, and now Brian is going to bobble Self and see if he wants to draw that card, which it seems like he does, and then draw that card and then bobble Self again using this fetch land.
Yeah, saw Urza on top. He's like, not shuffling my library this smelting turn.
Well, I'm getting standard flashes. What? I didn't know that's in the deck.
I think it's a one-of, but yes.
I did not do my homework.
You didn't have this pairing, did you?
That is so interesting that you have to like, oh yeah, you can do like snow cover force and regular force and mountains. That is awesome. I love Magic so much. That is wild. All right, so not popping the bobble is quite interesting. Oh, you need the bobble for the Mox. That makes sense. It's not interesting at all. It's just logical. It just makes sense. All right, so this is great. I mean, 2 bricks for lands. This deck, Titan Shift, is redundant but not consistent. And it doesn't have any smoothing of its draws. Like Brian is manipulating the deck cantripping and playing bobbles and just and filtering and things like that. That's not what Titan Shift does. So Titan Shift has to naturally draw the cards.
Bobbles on upkeep. Yeah, a 5. Andreas has yet to cast a spell this game. Last game he won on turn 4. This game he's going to cast his first spell on turn 4, assuming he gets there.
Yeah, Brian is now drawing to exactly War of Invention or Thopter Foundry for the instant kill, but can also will get 2 draws for this turn and an Urza activation. Can potentially assemble enough artifacts to put Andres on like 3 turns of lethal, right? So Andres can only play 1 land. Oh, wow.
Summoner's Pact? Really?
So you're just going to get Sakura Tribe Elder and then... Huh.
How do you... What's the upkeep on Summoner's Pact?
4, but you can Sakura Tribe Elder into the 4th land.
All right. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know the logic behind it. There probably is some. But like you're going to be taking next turn off now to just accelerate.
Yeah.
So it does give you a chump.
Yeah.
So trading bobble for
engineers the bauble back into play for yet another card draw.
Yep. Just trying to make sure that the win comes as soon as possible.
Mind Stone, Chromatic Star, Mishra's Bauble.
3 more cantrips.
More cantrippy artifacts.
The longer that I see this Urza deck, the more it just reminds me of KCI. Just more and more artifact cantrips. Yeah, so here Brian does have a pretty good offense, but it's getting blocked by the Sakura Tribe Elder. That is going to stop Brian from doing lethal combat damage, but I think he's still just trying to combo as fast as possible and is drawing to 5 outs for that. 6 outs, excuse me. He's went up to 4 Thopter Foundries. Which I guess makes sense. Oh, there it is.
Goblin Engineer.
Yeah.
More outs. You weren't even counting that one.
No, that's lethal. This is lethal. because there's one. I wasn't counting that. I forgot the engineers to draw 2. So this can just put it in the graveyard. The one in play can bring it back into play, and all you need is 1 mana to start the engine, which is just 1 untapped artifact, which the Thopter Foundry is that once it comes into play. So even if Brian didn't have any artifacts tapped or untapped, it still is going to just be a lethal exchange. I think the writing's on the wall. Andres is just going to make Brian go through some of the motions. I feel like, I mean, this is the finals of Team Modern Super League. I would love the dedication of you play it out, you time out. Like, I would love it. I would.
I think BBD's got enough reps with this deck. He can make his, 20, 30, 40 flyers and feel fine. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Andres is not going to make him go through the motions. The combo has been demonstrated, and we're going to game 3.
We're going to game 3. This is the first game of the series that we can win and take everything home, right? This is the first time we have that chance.
Yeah, we have not had a lot of game 3s tonight.
No.
Oh, a bunch of 2-0s.
That's good though. From last week, that was stressful. See, I have fun when it comes to Team Modern Super League. I don't take this too seriously. I know that it's a great competition and it's fun, but this is just casual for me. But last week I was like, man, you're making me get into this, right? Like you're like I was feeling every game, and
I think that may have been the longest show we've ever done.
It felt like it.
It went 7. They were long, intricate, interesting games. Most of the 7 went game 3. I think 5 of them went to game 3 at least.
Yeah, we did. No, that is correct. We did go to 5 game 3s. I remember thinking about that.
Yeah, I noticed the video that I uploaded it broke the 5-hour mark, which I don't remember doing before.
Yeah, I was exhausted by the end.
Yeah, it was like 5 hours in a couple of minutes, but still, it hit 5 hours. That was a great match, though.
Opening hands. It was very good. Oof, this hand is so close, but I think I don't.
Yeah, Thoughtseize half the combo. A whir.
But the mountain.
Yeah, and BBD ships it pretty quick. That one's got to be better. It's like all the same stuff. He doesn't have the 3rd artifact. No, he does for Opal. Oh, but he can't. He has to. Thopter Foundry is his 3rd artifact, but he can't cast it without the Opal. So you just keep it and cross your fingers.
Oh yeah, you have to keep this hand. It's not perfect, but there's no going back to.
All right. 2 rampant growths, a prime time, and an hour for Andreas.
So Brian does not agree with popping Bobble to try to make sure that try to get the 2nd land on top. Instead, saving that for the Mox Opal. Because of 2 Thoughtseize, I think I would just take the hour in the prime time, because you taking Farseek or Secure Trouble doesn't make any sense because the other one will come into play.
Yeah, he goes for prime time.
Mm-hmm. But you technically don't have to do it this turn. So if Brian does draw something that allows him to rev engines, but I mean, missing land drops is just so bad. Like there are a lot of 1-drops and 0-drops to draw for that Mox Opal. That makes sense, but just missing actual land drops means that you're that another turn away from Urza. That like I almost feel like you were supposed to bobble, but I guess you forced it. Oh no! Worst possible.
How about a 3-mana artifact? That does not get the job done.
Not like this, Brian Brown doing.
I mean, Thoughtseize took hour. Andreas is on nothing but mana right now.
Yep. But I don't know if you know this. Titan Shift kills with mana.
Yeah. Well, it's got to draw one of the business spells. Making his land drops, though, you're right. He's going to have time. Brian is certainly giving him. There it is. There's the Scalding Tarn.
And that's the engineer. So we don't, the Mox isn't working, but if we just hit those land drops and get a couple bricks and get that, all we have to do is get that Urza into play. But there isn't a red-white. Oh yeah, no, blue-red Scalding Tarn will allow, or not Scalding Tarn, Steam Vents will allow for Goblin Engineer and Thopter Foundry.
Yep.
But what do you play? Do you start with that? Okay.
Goes to the Engineer. Wants it to lose Summoning Sickness sooner rather than later, I would think.
I can see playing the Thopter Foundry, though, because Thopter Foundry could allow you to draw another artifact that allows you to...
and turn on the Opal. That's fair.
All right, everyone in chat, cross your fingers for Andres to brick.
What is on top of the deck?
Brick! No!
Tezzeret. More expensive cards. All right, so he can play the Thopter Foundry.
But still 2 turns away. There's no card on top that'll allow Brian to get to 4 mana.
I mean, the only card in his hand he can cast is the Thopter Foundry.
Yes.
I mean, and there's the Mox Opal. I guess he can Opal and then
you can sack Opal
it to Engineer to get a cantrip out of your graveyard. Is that really better than just committing the 2 mana for Thopter Foundry?
Well, you have to think about artifact removal as well, potentially. I don't know. Like, Andres is just on air. Does Brian... I don't remember what Brian knows about the fetches, but I'm assuming, like, if both players are playing properly, those are 2 hidden lands. I have not been paying attention.
No, I don't know which lands. You're right. I give Andreas credit for playing the lands Brian saw.
And even if I don't give players credit, I'm still just going to say that for the sake of commentary. You know, joke on Andres.
All right, next draw step. Oh, upkeep Engineer. Yeah, he did decide cashing in Opal for Bauble was the line.
To see the top card. No! No! Oh God, no! Well, that'll take us to a game 7, won't it, Randy?
I think we're on for game 7. Hopefully Corey's got his computer fixed.
Yeah. I don't know, but I do want to say before we go to break, and I said it before, I have a true appreciation to the Super Leagues, team or otherwise, and the show you and Athena put on is just fantastic. It's just way better than I could even see 2 people working on something, and I just want to say thank you for making this product, and thank you for having me along for the journey.
You're very welcome. We love to have you. Hopefully you can. Hey, I got a question though. Do you want to learn Vintage?
No. It looks awful.
No, they fixed it. It's going to be fun now.
What do you mean they fixed it? They banned or unbanned like 15 cards, and then everyone complained about it. Like, I am going to stay as far away from that as possible. I'm going to stick to standard where things still also don't make sense to me.
I thought people reacted pretty well to yesterday's restrictions. I'm intrigued, and I am playing a Vintage Super League, starting to put plans together for the fall. So.
It sounds really fun, but it's like I don't really want to learn a new language right now.
It is a new language.
There's enough magic, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely its own unique beast. And at some point you go through the learning curve and then you're like, oh, wow. Now, you only have to make the investment once, like ever, because it doesn't change that much. But, well, I'll talk into it some other year.
Investment. You'll never talk me into this.
No?
No. It's just too much work. Like, I want to focus on like the things that I already have in front of me. I'm not learning that format. Legacy, I would love to be on a Legacy. I love Legacy. But Vintage, there's games where people just do the most explosive things, and then the next game where neither player does anything for 7 turns. And I get why you like it. It's just not my thing.
It's awesome. It's different. I think it's awesome. Anyway, we're not ready for Vintage yet. We have 1 match of Modern left. Best 2 words in esports. Game 7.
Oh, not Tron Mirror?
Those were not the 2 words I had in mind.
Those aren't the best 2 words. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I
wasn't on the same page.
Best 2 words in, I don't even know how to finish that sentence. Such that the answer would be Tron Mirror.
I mean, this is a great way for the Modern Super League to go down. Just a Tron Mirror. 1 is slightly advantaged, but it doesn't matter. It's whoever gets all 3 into play, right? Like, this is going to be wild. We're going to see a lot of mulligans. It's going to be exciting, and I think Brian's going to be along for the journey.
All right, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the deciding match.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello and welcome back. We've got one match left in the season. I'm going to be casting it with Andreas Peterson. How you feeling going into this?
It's what I hoped for going into the evening, but you know, with the start we were facing, it was more like something I was. It was like a miracle was about to. I needed a miracle to happen to get here, but now I feel very good. I did my job. I 3-0'd. So.
Oh, did you? I wasn't counting.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah. So now we just need one win out of Thomas and Michael combined to seal it.
Fair enough. This is you coming off the heels of the Vintage Super League win last season too. This is you personally trying to go back to back. You trying to get onto the list of 2-time Super League winners. You'd only be the 5th name on that list.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
And by the way, we've had a European entry in, probably a majority of the Super Leagues. There's been some non-North American, lunatic who's like, I don't care about time zones. I'll make it work. You're the only one who's pulled it off and won. Your VSL win last season was actually the first time we've had a non-North American win a Super League. So that back-to-back would be even more impressive, I think, when you consider the time zones.
Yeah, it takes something special for sure, but like Michael talked about in a previous segment, it's not a big deal because of our huge passion for just playing. So we'll basically do whatever it takes to play some sweet Magic.
Yeah, Magic's pretty awesome. And once you get playing, you're just playing Magic. That's all you got to think about. No problem.
Yeah.
All right, this last match was originally scheduled to be match 6, but assuming Corey can get his computer working, it will be Thomas Enevoldsen against Corey Baumeister. That will be our 7th and deciding match. It's 3 apiece. Winner take all at this point. And it is a Tron mirror, not a true mirror. One, you guys still like Great Creator. Brothers think, we like having a sideboard instead of having Great Creator in our deck. Was this your call, or where do you stand on the Great Tron debate right now?
To be honest, that was kind of Thomas's job, but we sat together a few days ago, and he actually had the winning list from the Pro Tour lined up. But we figured now that you wouldn't need as much graveyard hate. We could easily just put the tutor targets in our sideboard without sacrificing too much. So we actually we swapped the creator in a few days ago.
Interesting. That actually makes sense that you wouldn't need as much space in your sideboard in a world where you don't have to pack quite so much graveyard hate.
Yep.
Reasonable theory.
Yep. So 3 days ago we had the ley lines, but we had the last minute, I guess you can say. And I think this will be a small advantage in this matchup because Karn the Great Creator, as we vintage players know all about, the Null Rod or Stony Silence ability on your opponent's side can be quite relevant.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Definitely relevant to the matchup. So I think you guys have the slight edge on decks here, but on the other side, I think Corey's played more Tron than Thomas has. I mean, Thomas just decided, all right, it's time for me to learn Tron. Yeah. It's been this important deck. Let's see what happens. So maybe a little more experience over on the brother's side.
Yeah, definitely. Thomas played a few leagues with the deck, and he just said, yeah, I can run this, but you could definitely see during his first matchup with the deck tonight that he wasn't 100% sure about the interactions with the common hate cards. Like, I think he misplayed where he should have searched up a blast zone and kind of forgot about the damping sphere in the process where he tried to cast Sylvan Scrying after cracking a star or something like that. So let's hope that he can shake it off and play a flawless match right now.
That is going to be the match. Hopefully we're getting that queued up for you. Apologies for any audio issues we might have on the connection to Andreas. Hopefully they're not too bad. While we're waiting for the match to get set up, by the way, Brad was giving me grief. I was talking about it, but I mean, you'll be on my side here. Vintage after yesterday's changes. Yep. You're ready to play, right?
For sure.
You're just waiting for the call for VSL Season 10, right?
Definitely. Look, I'll play Vintage even if it was a singleton format or if you could play 4 of each cards. It's just somewhat a huge nostalgia factor for me. So, but I haven't really got to work on the new format yet, to be honest. I've had this today's finals as my phone, but I'll get into it during the week, so I'll be ready for Saturday.
It's only been a day, Andreas. It's okay. You have basically till Saturday's Vintage Challenge before you need to actually turn your attention to.
Yep.
Maybe even take a day to all right. Sounds like our players are ready, so let's go wrap up Team Modern. All right, Corey's got only the one land.
Yeah, Thomas also has a decision to make here. He showed in the match against Humans that he was totally willing to keep a hand that didn't have the necessary pieces to assemble Tron. But I think this is a mulligan from Thomas's side.
Well, Thomas kept it. No, he didn't. He mulliganed. My bad. I saw it go to Corey.
So now
they're both on 6 and thinking again. That's what's going on.
Yeah. So this is a keep from Thomas's side because you have the next best thing besides assembling Tron for yourself. You have the Ghost Quarter to disrupt the opponent. So I don't think you can go to 5 here, to be honest.
He agrees with you.
Gets rid of the additional Karn. Also super reasonable.
Yeah, and Thomas.
if Corey decides to keep his hand, he also has an easy decision to bottom the Dismember.
Does Corey keep 2 mines, a forest, a Sylvan Scrying? No,
Nope.
not good enough, especially on the draw.
Goes to 5, and that's an even worse hand.
Oh, 2 mines, a Sanctum, and no green mana.
Yeah.
Do you go to 4?
Yeah, I think that's what you want to be doing.
Yeah, London Mulligan is definitely a big part of the reason Tron's had such a resurgence. And, being able to mulligan aggressively and still put playable hands together, you get the right 4, you're in pretty good shape with the Tron deck. And that definitely looks better than the 5.
Yeah, so Corey gets to keep Tron piece, map, green mana, plus Sylvan Scrying. So he's basically just 1 Tron piece short.
I mean, not even, right? He's kept Tron, but nothing to do with it functionally. It's turn 4
right.
Tron.
Definitely.
Turn 4 Tron, but he's got all 3 pieces.
I was already calculating the fact that he's going to get Ghost Quartered before he gets there.
Well, that was going to happen, whatever. I mean, Corey succeeded in mulliganing to Tron. The fact that Thomas drew his Ghost Quarter is not something Corey has a great answer.
You're definitely right. So I wonder what Thomas's play is here, because firing off the map without knowing whether you need one piece or the other can be kind of iffy.
For sure.
I could see just playing a sphere and pass the turn.
Yeah, I think he wants to stall. Like, he wants more information. Okay,
Sacrificing
he's
right
cycle
away.
The sphere.
In case you had another sphere, star, relic, or stirrings on top.
Makes sense. All right. Corey's Oblivion Stone doesn't do much here. Power plant.
That was a great draw from Thomas, and he knows he's not gonna get Tron next turn, so he can actually both set up his own Tron plus, search for the land at least, and then if Corey plays, I guess he can't really risk it, so I guess he has to Ghost Quarter next turn. But he knows he has Tron next turn, the turn after that.
Yep.
So I guess that's the way you play it. Also, very important that he drew a land to play for the turn, so he doesn't show the Ghost Quarter before he's actually going to use it.
All right, the mine from Corey, and here is the Sylvan Scrying. He has assembled Tron.
Yep.
In his hand.
Yeah, battlefield and hand combined. Yeah. So now in Corey's spot, he thinks that he might force Thomas to search up a Ghost Quarter unless he has some business to cast himself. That's what he's hoping for. But once the tower hits the revealed zone, he'll know that either there's a Karn coming down, or something else. So let's see if...
I mean, Thomas does have to choose whether to play out his Tron and do something with it or use the Ghost Quarter. He doesn't get to do both.
So now Thomas needs to really do his homework regarding Karn the Great Creator and Liquimetal Coating. Whether that's more profitable for him.
Right. 8 mana. So he can play Karn. You think that's the line? Liquimetal Coating?
If you get that one, you can activate on Corey's upkeep, and then Corey will have 6 mana available, right?
Yeah, Tower from hand would still tap for 3. Karn the Great Creator, that is what Thomas decides. He is going to use his Tron. He is going to start the Karn.
And I like this play because there's nothing super scary from 6 mana that Corey can do. The best card is like a Wormcoil Engine, I guess, which Thomas has covered with his own copies. The Ballista is a thing. Except you can't activate it. Never mind.
Karn does have the static ability of Null Rod.
Yeah, it's...
Yep, there is in fact a Liquimetal Coating.
Yeah, Thomas, actually, we talked the other day about tweaking the deck, and he said, "Do you really need that coding? I mean, when will you ever use it?" And I tried to explain him that you can shut down planeswalkers, you can shut down opposing lands. He wasn't really sold on it, but I guess he's changed his mind now.
It's definitely a card you see in everybody's sideboard as a one-of with these Karn the Great Creator, wish boards.
Yep.
And it doesn't come up very often, but this is a spot where it looks really good.
Definitely the time walk he needed that also lets him develop stuff himself.
Right, by turning that power plant into an artifact, it is shut off by Karn's static ability.
So I think Corey's only play here is getting the Ballista into play, because if he doesn't, he'll just lose to Lattice.
Yeah. Well, Ballista to attack with next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's gonna Ancient Stirring. Still has the ability.
I'm not.
Well, I guess
sure.
it was a 2/2 Ballista either way. No, it could have been a 3/3 Ballista. Now it's only a 2/2.
I'm curious what his plan is here. It's also totally reasonable that he forgot about the static ability.
It's turning off his power plant right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Or I mean, forget about the fact the interaction with Ballista. God, the card is so good. Karn, the Great Creator.
Yeah,
interestingly though, Corey does not have any in his deck. So by that's the other nice thing that Liquimetal Coding play does. It turned off Big Karn, and there are no little Karns for Corey to draw. So
yeah, I'm not too sure what he's digging for here. He played his land for the turn. Now he only has 5 mana available.
Well, came up with a World Breaker. Two Ballista. So he does have a creature that he can potentially attack with. And the reason getting a creature down to attack is so important is because of Karn's ability to go get Mycosynth Lattice, turning everything into artifacts. Corey won't be able to tap lands for mana if Thomas puts that combo into play. What he can do, though, with a Ballista is he can, in theory, attack Karn the Great Creator and get the static off the board by attacking the Planeswalker. I'm with you, though. A 3/3 Walking Ballista looks a lot better here.
And at the same time, getting the World Breaker into his hand is great because he wouldn't have had double green available next turn.
All right, here's Mycosynth Lattice. There's that Ghost Quarter to break up Tron, but Mycosynth Lattice kind of broke it up anyway.
And there's the 1/1 blocker that you need to buy the turn, and then the Wormcoil will seal the deal.
Yep.
Awesome play by Thomas.
And it turns out it wouldn't have mattered how big that Ballista is. All Thomas needs to do is chump block it once.
Yep. That's a great play at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't see how Corey gets out of this one.
He needs to see the Wormcoil engine first, and then I imagine we are moving on to sideboarding.
God, Mycosynth Lattice Karn is so crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
It is interesting though that it's the non-Great Creator Tron list that put up the results previously.
Yep. So this activation should seal the deal also, because Corey's not getting through the 6/6.
Yeah. And Ugin kills the Ballista anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Mage Market was down. You guys were down 3-1. 1-3.
Yeah.
Have come all the way back and are now a game away from claiming the title.
Yeah, we're channeling our inner LeBron James from the Cleveland days. Coming back from the 3-1 deficit. So now I'm curious.
Go ahead.
I'm curious about how Thomas decides to sideboard. I said don't forget to bring in the Nature's Claim to snipe early expedition maps. And I just said that Corey would be bringing in the surgicals to try and get lucky with Ghost Quarter plus surgical, and he should just be wary of that. That the Land Searchers can all of a sudden turn into eternal Stone Rains.
Yeah. Surgicals are, in fact, exactly what Corey brought in. Looks like he's going for these Thragtusks as well.
Yeah, he's going for the plan B. That's yeah, I guess he just had so many suboptimal cards in the main deck. Thomas even bringing in the Warping Whale. So aside from countering a sorcery and making the Eldrazi Scion, what's the third mode? Kill a creature with toughness 1, or is that it?
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so a card like All This Dust is an easy cut. The thing is that all the threats, aside from the 8 copies of Karn, aren't super exciting. I mean, a card like Ugin is serviceable, and so is Wormcoil, but nothing to write home about.
Bash Brothers have been up against it before. They actually threw away a 3-0 lead last week.
Yeah.
But stabilized just in time to win Game 7. All right, see what happens in Game 2. Corey does get to be on the play. Now, keep in mind, Corey did mulligan to 4 last time, right?
Yep.
Thomas was on the play. Corey mulligan to 4. Actually had a little bit more of a game than I thought we were going to have, given those facts.
Yeah, definitely.
Tower Mine and a Scrying, but no green mana.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I'm sitting here and not in Corey's shoes here. I just don't.
Corey says no. That doesn't make Tron, and this one doesn't have any mana whatsoever. So,
and this is interesting because Thomas could be tempted to keep this. Okay, he's not going to keep it. He mulligans into Tron instead. That's just how you do it.
I was about to say and a power plant and a tower.
He could have been tempted by the previous hand because it had a Ghost Quarter and it had a Karn to play, so you could kind of stump your opponent's development and have a turn 4 Karn. But yeah, now this decision just looks so crisp.
Yeah, Thomas has got a 6 with Tron, but nothing to do with it yet.
Yep.
Corey's got a 5 with. I mean, if you squint just right, you can see Tron, but it definitely needs some help.
The thing is here, Thomas has the luxury of digging up a Ghost Quarter with the map, which is huge. That's a huge luxury to have here. So just have the natural Tron.
Another Expedition map.
Yeah.
Corey's going to pop the Chromatic Star. Really wants a land, but no. That green mana is going to drift away. Does not get to sink it into a Sylvan Scrying.
Yeah,
wow.
Corey.
Yeah, played to get himself. I mean, he needed to get lucky there, I think, and he just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how good of a Magic player you are, you couldn't have played any better than Corey did up to this point, and you just have to, do your best and hope the cards fall away.
I thought the first mulligan, like the 7 was the best of all the hands that he saw. If he keeps the 7, he needs green mana, and then he'll have turn 4 Tron. Maybe that's just not good enough.
No, I don't think it is, because you're not playing that many green sources that you can play on time. I think you play 4 or 5 basic forests.
Yeah. I mean, any Chromatic Star.
Yeah.
Sphere turns it on.
So now Thomas gets to log up the game with his freshly drawn Karn Liberated, and there's just absolutely nothing Corey can do about it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Natural Tron off his 6, still floating an Expedition map that could go get a Ghost Quarter. But why get a Ghost Quarter when you can just use Karn Liberated to blow up your opponent's only land?
Yeah, that's just
brutal.
That's kind of anticlimactic, to be honest.
I think you'll take it.
I'll definitely take it. I had hoped that we won like an epic game instead of a walkover.
And Corey does have the surgical he brought in. All he gets is the Ancient Stirrings, though.
Yeah.
Does get one from hand.
He gets to have a sneak peek whether he should concede now or play it out by seeing Thomas's hand.
There's no comeback here, right?
Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Because now Karn goes up, and then Corey can only play one land each turn, and that's gonna get eaten.
Yep. Wow. Looks like Mage Market is gonna do it. Ugin joins the party. Corey is seen enough. The Brothers Who Bash come up one game short. It is Mage Market who wins the Team Modern Super League. Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you, Randy. It's been a hell of a ride. Just as you talked about earlier, the fact that we got to play with Modern Horizons early.
Yeah.
Now we get to play the finals just the day after a huge shakeup like yesterday. Like yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday in my time zone, it's still yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, that's just awesome. Just adding a little more extra spice to an already delicious dish.
Speaking of spice, you guys played 25 different decks.
Yeah, we talked about it even before the season that it would be pretty cool to play 25 decks. And I remember us saying that number 25. Like we actually counted on losing a round, because if we just went undefeated, it would only be 20. But
right.
Yeah, 25 just sounds way cooler, and we got to play an additional match day, so it's just awesome.
It was quite cool, no doubt about it. Yeah, hats off to you guys. Absolutely well-deserved victory. Well played. You brought the spice. You showed off some tech. You showed an incredible range. And you did it all at 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
Super impressive. Now it's 6:15. So yeah, kind of a late night.
Wow. Well, it's been an awesome season. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have. Want to thank our sponsors once again. Cool Stuff and Cardsphere have both been on board for a while, and Mage Market as well. It was nice to see you guys get the chance to show off that brand.
Oh yeah.
All right, that is going to do it for Team Modern Super League. I am definitely excited about Vintage. Going to start putting that together up next. But for now, it's just Andreas Peterson and Mage Market's time to shine and soak in the spotlight.
I'll enjoy it, and then I'll get back to work on Vintage.
All right, we'll expect another top 8 by this weekend out of you.
Let's hope
so. All right, keep an eye on what Echo Baronin's up to in the Vintage challenges. Usually his decks are up near the top, or maybe somebody else is piloting them. But having mastered Modern, time to turn his attention back to Vintage, and wow, it's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Randy.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We'll see you next time.